Here's Daniel Garb.
Massive game for both teams. Are Port the real deal or not? They need to take a scalp like this. The opportunity presents Ken Hinckley's side this afternoon, and the Giants, bullish from day one of pre-season about their premiership aspirations. Can they make the top four if they drop this one? That will be a big question mark. They need to get back to winning ways. They've lost 5 of their last 7. The tsunami rings around the Sydney Showgrounds.
Big tsunami, Garby. Sorry, we've gone early, I reckon, here. The umpire's just tossing the ball around in his hands. We're waiting for something.
Well, Ivan Soldo and Kieran Briggs were hunched over, ready to go at it. And we've had a bit of a delay.
There we go, fire away.
Now we're set. The two big rucks, what a battle this will be. Launch at the football now. Finn Callahan's in the middle for the Giants, as is Tom Green. Launches and grabs the Sharon. Dan Houston comes in off the line and punches it forward. Gathered by Burn Jones. Back to Houston. Port go inside 50, and they've taken a mark straight away through Mitch Georgiades out on a long lead, and he'll kick from 45 out, slight angle to the left.
That goes your prediction. Well, my prediction said on that forward line, very dangerous in that space, obviously high early, but great for your confidence as a key forward to have that space in front of you and be able to lead up hard and obviously get the finish to hit you in the chest.
There wasn't a lot of pressure from the midfield. You know, I know that Tom Green spiked the ball forward with his hands, but as soon as Port won it, there wasn't a lot of pressure on the kick coming inside 50.
Mitch Georgiades set up beautifully by Dan Houston. Kicked 4 goals last week against the Blues, Georgiades. And he has the first of the afternoon. Port strike inside 10 seconds. They are 1 straight 6. Giants yet to score, down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Really weird one. Soldo just ran to the bench, and I thought he's not injured already, is he? He threw his mouthguard. He had the wrong mouthguard. He had Ollie Lord's mouthguard out there, so he's currently playing unprotected. They're looking for his as we speak.
I did see that. He trotted over and it was a look of confusion there for the big man.
I want to know how that happened. How do you end up with the wrong mouth guard?
Don't know what's going on in pre-game.
You tuck it in your socks or...
Saw the Giants.
Teammates, roommates.
The Giants were sharing headgear last week. Toby Green got cut open, had to borrow the, what's the young fella from Darcy Jones? Darcy Jones had the white headgear. He wasn't playing in that game in Launceston, but the skipper was lent a hand there, or a headgear as it was. 1 straight 6. Georgiades with the opener here for the Power. The final game of round 14 on ABC Sport. Back in the middle, Briggs. Out of the right, lays it down there for Tom Green. Sweeping hand pass to half forward. Picked off here by Farrell for the Power. Needs some support though. Pluck clear again for the Giants. It comes wide to Kelly on his preferred left. Steers it inside 50. Strong spoil from Alir down there on the danger man Riccardi. Speaking of dangerous man, O'Halloran last week kicking 4 goals for the Giants. The stoppage inside 50 here for the home side. They trail 1 straight 6. That's Port Adelaide's score. The Giants hit the score on ABC Sport.
Drew putting a lot of work into Tom Green off the ball. He had a good start by Tom, but he's putting a lot of work into him and popped out of the stoppage now.
Zerk Thatcher now matched up on Toby Green. Perhaps that is the opponent for him. Strong tackle by Briggs on Boak, and Boak is caught holding the ball. Excellent work by the big ruckman, and he'll have a shot from 45 out. Slight angle to the left as well for the Giants as they look for their response to Georgiades' opener.
It's what he does well, Kieran Briggs, his follow-up work. I mean, he's a nice ruckman, he's big and he's strong, but he actually follows up really well. He tackles, he wins clearances, and, they need him to do that. He's been in form doing it.
Such an important player for the Giants. Doesn't kick too many, Kieran Briggs. This one is pulled to the left and through for a behind. But the Giants are on the board. 1 behind. Port 1 straight 6. A couple of minutes gone in the first term on ABC Sport from the Sydney Showgrounds.
The kick out will come from Farrell. Short kick up the line, just keeping it inside defensive 50. Laying off the hand pass, Zerk Thatcher, the ex-Bomber back to Farrell. Now just thumps it clear toward the outer side of the showground. Spurl down there, Burn Jones on Himmelberg. Towed away for Callahan for the Giants. Picked off again here by Rosie. Spins through traffic. Needs the hand pass. Clean gets it away to Horn Francis. And now off left half back, just... He works it up the line as well. Back with the flight. It was nice work from Iden. Couldn't pull in the grab. They pile in from all angles. And the umpire says, give it to me. Attacking side of the wing in the Powers attacking half. They lead 1 straight 6. The Giants 1 behind. We've played now. Where's that scoreboard gone? About 4 minutes in this opening term on ABC Sport as it's now gone out of bounds for a throw-in.
Connor Rossie's forward. I thought he'd spend a bit more time in the mid, but obviously trying to ease him into the game. He's playing as a high half forward at the moment.
Fair call, underdone, missed a lot of footy.
Zerk Thatcher's now standing Brent Daniels. So they're trying to work out the matchups down backport, and it's causing them some issues. That is a mismatch. As Callaghan gathers it off the stoppage, Toby Green bumps Bergman. Bergman wins it well inside the boundary line. And a strong tackle on Burgoyne by Callaghan. We'll have a ball up on the outer side. Beautiful Sunday afternoon, but the lights are on here at the Sydney Showground Stadium.
That's probably positional, Garby, I think. If Toby Green went up to the stoppage, so Zerk Thatcher doesn't want to go up with him, just sits off.
Horton Francis takes on Toby Green. Giants win it clear here. Callaghan, hand pass off to Daniels. His 50th game today, Toby Bedford, I beg your pardon. Not Brent Daniels, as Green gets a hand pass away again. Callaghan kept running and out to the pocket. There is Brent Daniels. Rode the bump there of Zerk Thatcher. Gets the hand pass away. The power can clear off. Half back again. This time through Jed McEntee.
McEntee has options. Handballs over the top to Butters, but he ran too far.
Yeah.
Ran too far without taking a bounce. So Bedford in his 50th centres it for Whitfield. Giants have the chance to get going. Haynes back to Iden, the middle of the ground. Now Himmelberg sweeps one out wide to Josh Kelly. Back in the team, Kelly just pokes it to half forward, where he has Harvey Thomas. And he finds Jesse Hogan on a lead, just inside 50 on a tight angle to the left. A chance for Hogan to kick the Giants' first major.
Yeah, nice patience. From the stoppage situations, the Giants have just been overusing the handball a small bit. I know they love to do the forward handball itself, but you'd like a kick every now and then. Great patience there to walk it around. I thought they might have overdone it, the inside kick, but great patience from Harvey Thomas.
Tight angle for Hogan. He'll kick from just outside 50. Only the one goal last week against the Hawks. It'll go to the top of the square and off hands. It sets up a Green. It just evades him, though. It came down from Riccardi. Almost set up beautifully for Toby Green in the goal square, but then spun the other way and over for a behind. The Giants are 2 behinds, Port 1 straight 6.
Great to bring it all to you on ABC Sport. As earlier at Docklands, Collingwood beat North Melbourne by a point. An absolute thriller. Zach Fisher with a late shot on goal on the run.
You know what I haven't seen for a while is a man-on-man kick in, and the Giants are doing it right now. It's not a soft zone or anything. It's a man-on-man kick in, and I wonder if it's opposition teams been getting their hands on the ball a lot.
Press them back. Thatcher.
So I wonder if it's a tactic. Sorry.
Across the defensive goal mouth of Farrell, who now uses the middle of the Sydney Showground. Goes up to the 2-on-2. Himmelberg rise above. Down for Whitfield. Lays it off to Bedford. The Giants are away here. Ward in space. Receives it. Now kicks hurriedly. Deep to the pocket. Aliir is back there. It's a little too wide of he and Riccardi. And out of bounds for a throw-in.
Yeah, you're right, Spriggy. Just a lot more time there, Wardy, with that entry itself. Just got it, and wasn't enough talking to actually help him out and say, mate, take a bit more time with the ball itself.
Well, Adelaide 1 straight 6. The Giants 2 behinds. 5 gone opening term. ABC Sport.
Boundary throw in inside 50 for GWS. Zerk Thatcher with a clearing kick. Away from his defensive 50. It evades Georgiades and Iden. Iden tracks it well on the wing. Tries to spin away from Rosie. Is he caught? I think he is. Holding the ball. Great tackle, Rosie, the Port skipper. On the bigger man in Connor Iden. Has it just forward of the wing. Plays on now, Rosie. Goes long into attack. Marshall's there. Well done tracking back Buckley. Couldn't quite take the mark, but it favoured Taylor on the bounce. And then a strong tackle in the forward pocket for Port by Tom Green. And we'll have a ball up about 20 out from the Port attacking goals left forward pocket.
Taking to the Olympic Stadium end here at Homebush. Power by 4 points. Up it goes. Soldo out of the ruck himself. Needs support. Kelly there for the Giants. Drops there for Jackson Mead. Flying shot on goal here for the Power. Goes across the face. And the one-on-one. Tim well done there. Georgiades brought to ground by Whitfield. The umpire says holding the ball. So Whitfield's tackle rewarded. The Power keep a 4-point lead. It's the Giants working their way off their last defensive line. Early stages first term here on ABC Sport.
Whitfield goes to Haynes, who sends it up to the wing. Good strong mark, Riccardi in front of Aliir.
Yeah, it's a better piece from the stand than 1v1. We saw him lead here. Aliir going to get him with the speed, but stand and make it a contest. It's easy. See strength Riccardi in the 1v1s, and you can see that there.
Oh, in reverse though. Not sure why, but Aliir has it now at half forward for Port. Let's see what that was for, but Jake Riccardi's mark now given to Aliir as they switch it. Port to Boak at half forward, and he goes to the lead of Georgiades, who's marked a fair way out from goal. He'll strike this from 55. The distance is probably too much for him. Right half forward. Georgiades, the only goal of the game so far. He sets it up to the pocket. Another whistle here.
on.
And a free kick going to GWS. It's against Zach Butters for a little hit on Tom Green. So a couple of interesting free kicks, but the Giants have it inside defensive 50.
It's like they're really watching off the ball, the umpires at the moment.
Tom Green from fullback. Wastes the kick here. It was a little wide. And Rosie sees it out of bounds for a throw-in right near the junction of 50 at left half forward for the Power, who lead by 4 points. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, Green and Drew have been going at it, wrestling, pushing each other. Bedford came over, as did Butters, and Butters just pushed Green straight in the neck, so that was a free.
Well, they are getting after Tom Green. I think obviously of what happened last week at the end of the game, but I'm not too sure he's the right man to be going after.
Unmistakable voice of Ty Canelli on ABC Sport. Bedford tracks it in the pocket there for the Giants. Clears it beyond defensive 50. Up there is Burgoyne in the contest with O'Halloran, going back inside 50 here through Farrell, but it's marked down there by Ryan Angwin for the Giants, deep at right full back.
Port lead by 4 points. The first term here at the Sydney Showgrounds, Sunday afternoon footy, ABC Sport. Here's Nick Haynes in the left back pocket, goes up to Cullen Ward. He did well. He was outnumbered there against Travis Spoke, and then Dirk Thatcher was entering the contest, but just guided over the boundary line, Cullen Ward. So we'll have a boundary throw in just forward of the wing for Port. Aliir on the ground for Port Adelaide. Now Lecalire's made his way on, and Lecaliere has said that Aliir was a massive mentor for him as he was coming through the ranks. So nice to see them playing against each other today. Here's Ollie Wines, who wins it at the source. Himmelberg gathers it. It didn't go 15 though, so he played on quickly. Riccardi soccers it forward to the wing, and Travis Spoke will see it over the boundary line in game 359 for the Port champions.
Just on Lek and Aliir, different spelling, same number. Different jumper, of course, but 21 they each wear for their respective sides. Of course, Aliir called this city home as a former Swan. It comes back in on the members' side of the showground. Up in front, Soldo competes with Riccardi. Towed forward by Tom Green. Going through, Daniels taken high. Free kick GWS.
Yeah, nice play, Daniels. Hard at the pill and gets rewarded.
Took on the much bigger man in Soldo, so the umpire saw the hand over the shoulder.
You've got to get down low, Ivan Soldo, to take Brent Daniels.
204 centimetres, isn't he?
27 disposals, a career best for Daniels against Hawthorn last week. Up inside 50, strong grab from Hogan. Got a couple of bodies to compete with him, Radungalea and Aliir, but Hogan won out there, and he has it 40 out from goal on a 45-degree angle.
Some smart forward play from Jesse Hogan as a key forward. He just slipped in behind Cal Brown, and Aliir was the contest in front of him. He slipped in behind it, which allowed him to get that 1 metre separation over Radungalea. Very smart.
Kicked 4 goals for the semi-final against their same opponent last year. Started approach from 45, on its way for their first goal. He misses. So it's 3 behind the Giants. They trail the Power 1 straight 6. Scoreboard's not working. We've played 11 minutes in this opening term on ABC Sport.
Yeah, need to start getting reward, obviously, on the scoreboard for the opportunities. The Giants.
Boat goes short to Wine, still inside defensive 50, the Power. And now to Houston, who sweeps one out wide. Beautiful kick for Darcy Byrne-Jones. Piercing 50-metre drive to the outer side. Byrne-Jones gathers it, gives it to Burgoyne. Kicks to half forward. That's a turnover, though, straight in the chest of Jack Buckley. Back in the side for GWS. Goes short to Tom Green, and now Cullen Ward at centre-half back. That was a clever kick to switch it. Josh Kelly at halfback. The Sherrin sits up for him. Handballs it up to Himmelberg on the wing. Darts around Horn Francis. Gives it back to Kelly now. Approaching half forward. Gets on his left. Sends it long into attack. Callum Brown will leap. Off hands. O'Halloran's there as his Toby Green slipped as he tried to kick it. Gathered by Cadman. He's turned it over. Porter under pressure. The Giants come back. Toby Green throws it on the boot and dribbles it through. The Giants have their first. The forward pressure comes to the fore, and the captain converts. GWS 139, Port 1 straight 6, halfway through the first term, ABC Sport.
Was it a nutmeg? It got through his legs. I'm not sure if it did, but that's between the legs.
He did half-heartedly say to the Darcy Byrne-Jones to the umpire, touch that, and he realised it was a foregone conclusion.
Well, it was like it was going to take something a little bit classy and special to actually generate a goal. Through the teams here. It's a bit of an arm wrestle. Whilst it hasn't been tough and in tight, it's been open and flowing a little bit, but no one's looked overly dangerous just yet. And it took probably a little bit of Toby Green class to just get a boot on the ball and sort of dribble it through on his right foot when perhaps it wasn't expected to be able to get a goal out of that situation.
Yeah, they had some good entries previously with hitting up the targets. It's just a longer entry with the crumb and in the pressure from Harvey Thomas that creates the turnover itself. different ways to score, obviously.
Jason Saddington, Tyke and Ilya, experts on ABC Sport. Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Declan Byrne, boundary side. You can text us, as always, 0437 774 774. Speaking of numbers, are we 666 here? Well, we're looking at... Oh, they're going back to look at the replay. See if there was a deflection off the boot of Darcy Byrne-Jones. It's inconclusive.
It's gone past
that angle. I think this is just a... Yeah, this should be... Oh, no. Looking at it, and they're going to say it's a behind.
Oh, boy.
Well, we can't see anything that's too conclusive here, but you can scrub that goal for Toby Green, who's back on the bench alongside his coach, Adam Kingsley. And it will, in fact, be 4 behinds the Giants. They trail Port 1 straight 6. We both through this first term on ABC Sport.
You can see the kick in here, the man-on-man from the Giants. You just haven't seen it for a while.
Well, Toby Green's not filthy about it as the cameras pan to him, so perhaps he heard a little clip of the bootlaces as it went through. Anyway, a reprieve for Port, who kicked to half forward. Strong mark there by Francis Evans opposed to Leclerc.
Not sure if that kicking strategy is working, Todd.
Goes to Byrne-Jones, and now Marshall in a lead in front of Taylor. Takes a good grab on his chest, and Todd Marshall will kick on a very tight angle from about 47 metres.
So it's because that's come from a kick in. Let's talk about that, Tyke. You're mentioning that the Giants are going man on man. So their city, it becomes very deep. I think the closest Port player on that kick in is about 40. And they're hitting up that first one. So they're getting to 35 straight away and then getting out over the top pretty quick.
Todd Marshall will kick from the point of 50 in the boundary line. Number 1 at Port for goals this season. That is a wonderful effort. On the tightest of angles, a long way out. Todd Marshall, that is a special kick. And Port at their second. They are 2 straight 12. Goals to Georgiades and now Marshall. The Giants 4 behinds.
All off the back of, obviously, the Toby Green, goal. It's interesting the way the game can change pretty quickly with the touch. We're just looking up on the screen now on the replay itself, but it was touch. But you're right, Jason, that they might have to look at the tactic. You plan all week coming into a game against an opposition team, Rob. We're going to go man-on-man in the front line, and we're going to try and stop them. So the question will be, as a coaching group, do you actually stick with it and stick fat and see if we can slow them up, or do we go back to a soft zone or a full-grown zone? If for mine, it's a full press. You've got to do it. The forwards are working extremely hard when you don't do it, and you've got some key forwards down there. They're not the most agile, so you're expecting them to actually go man-on-man can be a very difficult tactic from the Giants' perspective. But great finishing from Port Adelaide.
Yep, restart back in the middle. Ruck's tussle. Out of the ruck they go. Briggs, the Giants, gets them forward of halfway, but it's marked at centre-half back. It was nicely done out there for the power and Zerk Thatcher. So off centre-half back they go. They'll use it wide to the members' side. Going up in, taking a strong grab, Byrne-Jones beats Himmelberg. Up the line again. Hitting that man on the chest, Ollie Lord. Lays it back to DBJ. Going inside, 450, long to the teeth now. Marshall up there, but Ward with a defensive spoil through for a minor score. This game has been played mostly inside Port's attacking half so far. 2-1-13. They lead the Giants, who are 4 behinds. We've played now. That clock continues to evade me. 18 minutes in this first term on ABC Sport.
Whitfield goes to Iden, but he put him under pressure. That's an excellent grab, though, by Hogan on the outer side, just behind the wing for the Giants, opposed to Ranagalia. Just a relieving mark from the big key forward, but he's a long way from home. Just sends it long to right half forward. Leaping for it was Callum Brown. Didn't make much of an effort, though. Looking forward at ground level is Bedford and Burgoyne. Burgoyne lost a handle on it, and then it fell to Bedford, who was wrapped up quickly by Miles Bergman. So a ball up, right half forward for GWS. Zerk Thatcher, 6 disposals early on. He's been really good down back for Port.
Up it goes. Briggs taps it to the outside. Kept alive by Toby Green, only momentarily, and it goes out of bounds for a throw-in.
Yeah, so it looks like at the moment the game's really a little bit about ball movement for each team and the half-back lines. I think Port have been better at reading the ball, or at least getting their ball movement going from half-back, being able to get through the Giants with a kick game.
And the half-forwards getting a lot of the ball. They're getting the balls in the wing, and then they're coming back in. Burns-Johns has had a bit of the pill doing that.
Briggs,
on Himmelberg.
Bumps it clear. Ward and Rosie see it out of bounds for a throw-in.
Whereas I think the Giants' defenders look to be getting front spot a bit. They've defended quite well, but I think it's with the faster ball movement on the lead. Port are getting them at the moment.
Port Adelaide 2-1-13. GWS 4 behinds. Sunday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Well done by Briggs. Palmed it down to Callaghan. He got the handball away as he fell over. Zerk Thatcher, though, another excellent intervention. Palmed it down to Farrell. Burgoyne couldn't collect it, though. So at half forward, the Giants can try and win it back. Callaghan's scrapping away for it. Good second effort by Burgoyne to make amends for his mistake. And we'll have a ball up just outside 50 for the Giants.
Up it goes. Umpire wastes no time. Briggs, who's fifth in the comp for clearances, by the way, plucks it clear as he tends to do. They work it away to the power as they bring it clear. To the members' side, Burn-Jones marks on the logo. They're all surging forward in black, white and teal. Up the line he goes, leading out to Mark again, this time Marshall, who's beaten to the footy though by Sam Taylor. Little 1-2 hand pass there with Himmelberg. Taylor evades Marshall. Wide hand pass to Angwin. He can tumble it back down the line here. Picked off for the power and Williams. Goes back to half forward. Spilled by Himmelberg. There a chance here, the power again. Marshall dribbles inside forward 50. Buckley run down from behind by Georgiades. The umpire says give it to me for a ball up. 38 from the Powers attacking goal. They lead by 9 points here. 2-1 plays 4 behinds. We've just hit time on here in the opening term on the Sydney Showground.
No one contests Kieran Briggs in the ruck, so he takes it out cleanly, but then misses Ward with the handball. Picked up by Jace Burgoyne. Tumbles it towards goal, and Connor Ryden is there to knock it over for a rush behind. Didn't quite connect with that Jace Burgoyne. It was a good opportunity for him. Supported 2-2-14. The Giants 4 behinds on ABC Sport.
Whitfield goes long beyond defensive, 50 on the kick out. Buckley in space, gets into stride down the wing, has a bounce, looks up at half forward. He's got Hogan down there. He takes an easy uncontested grab. He's 55 from goal. Options inside the arc now, presenting for Hogan, who holds the footy. Just spears the pass inside 50. Up goes Alir. At the drop, they're all piling in after it. Bergman there for the power. Was in there first, but it's locked in for a ball up. 20 out from the Giants attacking goal. It was quick work coast to coast, starting with Whitfield. They trail by 9 points here, the home side. What do they do here? Let the ball up. Soldo to the outside. Hogan there first, though. It was well done down there by Butters in close company, and eventually Angwin and Ollie Wines. It's set out of bounds for a throw-in at half forward.
I feel like Port's defence and midfield have been really good at getting back inside 50. Every time the Giants have gone in, it's probably to, a 3v2, 2v1 in Port's favour.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants half forwards are walking in hard enough. On top of that, Jace as well, and midfielders, that is.
Free kick to Briggs, who was blocked out by Soldo off that boundary throw-in. So Kieran Briggs, quick handball to Toby Green. He's a long way out, so he tries to guide it. Looking for Hogan in attack. He's well watched, though, by Radanglia and picked up by Farrell. Throws it on the boot. Marshall ran into, I think, his own teammate in McEntee, and he's hurt. It's a free kick going to the Giants after all of that. Marshall's slow to get to his feet. It's another one to Kieran Briggs. He's 60 out. Marshall is feeling the effects of that hit. Still hunched over. Briggs launches this deep into attack for GWS. Hogan up against Radanglia, and it's over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in deep in attack for Port. Incidentally, Asava Radanglia is how he's been called a lot, but he has said recently the correct pronunciation of his surname is Radanglia, and that's how he would like to be called.
Absolutely.
So we'll stick to that today.
We'll do our best. It's hard on the run sometimes, but that's his name. 10 points is Port Adelaide's lead here. Bergman through traffic, wrapped up by Halloran. They clear the footy here, the power, unconvincingly. Butters out after it. Kelly goes with him. Kept alive by the skipper, Rosie. Just snaps up the line here. Whitfield there for the Giants. And his pocket picked. It was nicely positioned here. Butters with a bounce. Little 1-2 hand pass. Shares it there with Ollie Lord. Lord goes back via a kick in the middle of the Sydney Showground. Picked off here, Soldo. Out wide to Wines. He lost his footing. So did his opponent there in Whitfield. And McEntee is in from behind. Tom Green tackles him. Footy comes loose. Toby Green involved. O'Halloran now for the Giants. Boat, the veteran, burst through. Wrapped up by Lekalia. And the umpire will ball up on the wing.
Just fundamentally really poor from both sets of teams there. They miss handballs and slipping over. Opportunities for both sets to actually get their hands on the ball and be clean with it.
Pace is lifted, though, late stages of the first term. Port with a 10-point lead. Here's Josh Kelly darting around a couple, throwing it on his right boot. Radanglia couldn't take the mark. He's under pressure now. He's tackled by Hogan. Shouts for holding the ball. Umpire says no. Ball up deep in attack for the Giants. It was one of those ones you're not too sure about at the moment. They're so hot on it that any time someone gathers it and is tackled, the whistle might go, but a reprieve for Port there.
23 going first term, power by 10. Callaghan, the hand pass off here. It comes wide back to Bedford, 45 from goal. Sweeping further afield down to Kelly on his non-preferred right boot. Toby Green gets back in space and marks Judged it back with a flight, deep in the left forward pocket, no more than 25 out.
He's been important for them, Josh Kelly. You can see just having him back in the team, a bit of class. He's held his width really well. He's playing on the wing on this grandstand side, and he's got a bit of his footy out just from holding his positioning as a winger, not getting sucked into the contest. They've used him a few times, and his boy's obviously very, very important. And that was a special kick to find Toby Green on his own in the pocket.
Quiet against the Hawks last week, the skipper. 14 touches and a goal. He curls it around, not quite enough. And again, they miss near side. So 5 behind the Giants. Trail Port, who are 2-2, 14 as we approach quarter time here at the Sydney Showground. This is Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
There's 5 behinds, but not an easy shot on goal yet for the Giants. It's been a lot of tough shots.
Houston goes short, finds Alir.
They get through on the kick in again, Tyke.
Left half back, works it up to Jace Burgoyne, who's been busy on that outer side wing. Port kicking to the right of your radio dial or AFL Listen app. Now it's Dylan Williams in his own defensive 50. Giants have set up well here. Port with a 9-point lead, late stages in the first term. They're back out wide to Burgoyne and now work it up to Jason Horne-Francis, who hasn't had much of the footy in the early stages. Good tackle by him though on Angwin, wins it back. Handball to Burgoyne, darts inside. Now finds Houston on the logo, that long penetrating hit kick of his. Looking for Soldo, he's taken the grab I think. Yes, he has. Well done, the big ruckman. Tracked that all the way in the pocket, and on the second attempt, he was able to haul it in. And he'll kick from 35 out on a tight angle to the left.
Nice kick, wasn't it? You know, favourite side, and he just stretched the big fellow. He was there with him, but he's claimed he got a touch on it, but he's gathered it, and it's good work from the big fellow going forward. They've been kicking these. The 2 goals they've kicked. Certainly Todd Marshall's one. This angle was pretty special. Let's see how the big ruckman goes.
Ivan Soldo proving to be a very handy acquisition for Port Adelaide. The premiership player in 2019 for Richmond. On the angle, that is missed to the skinny side. So Port are 2-3-15. The Giants inaccurate, 5 behinds, and he's getting close to quarter time here at the Sydney Showground. Sunday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
So Whitfield to kick out. Looks into a setting sun. Has to find Ward, back to Whitfield by hand. Here's Lecalier. Goes bouncing off half-back here for the Giants. Pushed off the kick late by Burne-Jones. It skids out. A loose footy there, won by Butters for the power. Shares it back here with Dylan Williams. Put down in a tackle of Callaghan. And again, we'll ball up on the wing.
Good pressure from Burne-Jones, wasn't it? Coming out of that ball, actually allowed it the turnover, a possibility for the turnover. Good tackle from Callaghan.
Big game for both sides. The power keen to prove themselves against a fellow finals contender. Ward to Haynes. The Giants win it away from the stoppage. Whitfield's in space. Kick was too wide for him though. Burgoyne breaks the Whitfield tackle. Shares the hand pass to Wines. Off here again to Houston. They've got some dash going here. The power inside 50. Houston's kick on the bounce for Georgiades. Turns around Buckley. Balks one way and the next. And the snap. There's the finish. A second goal for Mitch Georgiades. And that was all class on the run. Good opening term here for Port Adelaide. They're 3-3-21. The Giants are 5 behind as we approach quarter time here on ABC Sport. Your experts are Ty Kennelly and Jason Saddington.
It was a horrible turnover from Nick Haynes, middle of the ground. Just popped a kick short in between 2 Giants players. Well read by Port Adelaide. And then they had the space going forward, one-on-ones, and it was Buckley caught against Georgiades, who was first up to the footy. Faked one way. Buckley sort of fell for it, went for the smother, and he just stepped back on his left. That's a lovely finish from the key forward on his left foot, but it was just time and space off the poor turnover from Nick Haynes through
nice
the
forward
ground.
craft, wasn't it? Set it off his right. Looks like he was going to kick his right, sell the candy or smell cold. It's another one terminology if you want to go. I can keep going with a few of them. But also, the Giants are refusing to kick the ball in direct into forward 50. Haynes allowing the turnover. You know, so just give the forwards a chance. Sorry, Spriggy.
Port lead by 16 points. And they've won it from the clearance again. Here's Horne-Francis. Just lost the handle on it, but it fell the way of Willem Drew. Throws it on the boot. Inside 50. Haynes couldn't take the mark, but he's won the free kick. Houston, coincidentally, causing the Giants a big problem. 8 disposals, 4 inside 50s, 3 score involvements in this first term.
I know where you're going with that, Garby.
On song early. Georgiades, by the way, career best 4 goals in that game before the bye. He's on track for another career best here with those 2 goals early on here. Haynes has it. in the left back pocket for the Giants. Drives it long beyond defensive 50. Up comes Riccardi, but it was watched by Mead in the contest with Ward. Falls to ground level, piling in there as well, and support Farrell for the Power. The Giants bring it away clear again. Bedford off to Toby Green, who goes to fend on Houston, but Houston drags him out to touch in rugby parlance. And it's going to be a boundary throw-in on the members' side of the showground. The Power lead, 3-3-21 to the Giants, 5 behinds. Approaching quarter time here on ABC Sport. Keep your text coming, 0437 774 774 on this Sunday afternoon.
Giants need to get something going before quarter time. Tom Green gathers it. Turns it over there to Houston. Winds in the middle of the ground. He's caught. O'Halloran gathers it. Now Finn Callaghan looping Hamble to centre half forward for GWS. Daniels needs to be quick. Is so now. Long ball into attack. Marked by Callum Brown. Almost bounced off his chest and now through for a behind. Hogan and Brown converged on that one. But Aaliyah and Ratungalia were able to hold their ground in the contest well. Port 3-3-21. Giants 6 behinds now. Late stages of the first term on ABC Sport from the Sydney Showgrounds.
They really ran into each other. You know, there was no talk whatsoever. Bronk probably could have held out and let Hogan come at it.
I reckon Hogan had his opponent beat.
Farrell kicks out here for the Power. It's a long, booming left foot kick beyond defensive 50. Lekalia comes across here. Winslow keeps it alive. Snaps up the outer side. Boak shows good pace to keep it alive only for a moment. We'll throw it back in on that southern wing or the eastern wing of the Sydney Showground here. It's the Power by 15 points as we approach quarter time.
Harping on it maybe a little bit, Tiger. That's 6 kick-ins there, and 6 times Port have got through to at least wing half forward.
Chance for Port if they can get a quick kick here into attack to perhaps put another on the board. It's a bouncing ball inside the middle of the ground. Horde Francis leaps. There is the quarter time siren. Strong start from the Power. This is a big test for them. A lot of people want to know if they can knock off big teams under pressure, away from home potentially. Well, they've started brilliantly. They are 3-3-21. GWS 6 behinds, a 15-point lead for Port at quarter time from the Sydney Showground Stadium.
Not a half hour 40 for the Classics, that one, but the Power do, in fact, as you say, Garvey, have the 15-point lead here. Earlier at Docklands, a thriller. North, in the end, beaten by the Pies by a point, 18-11 to 19-4. After at one stage the Kangaroos led by 54 points. I'm pretty sure that was the mark I heard referenced in that first half. So just extraordinary that finish there. By the way, just before we head to the break, the Giants banner today, they're sort of getting a reputation for this, and you know, the banner and the social media banter. They've channeled Barbie for their banner towards the Power. 11 years of media scrutiny. You've done it tough. Don't listen to the haters. You are Ken off. Towards Ken Hinkley. Very good there, the Giants. But it's the Power who lead by 15 points at the first change. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
G'day, Patrick Stack here from ABC Sport Daily. If you love sport...
The 400's been Australia's baby for a long time. Perkins, Hackett, Thorpe, you name it.
And great conversation.
He considers himself a weapon. He says he considers himself the high jump king.
Then you would love ABC Sport Daily.
I think the USA would have been just fine taking the 11 best players and then throwing on Caitlin Clark as a nod to marketers.
ABC Sport Daily. Get it on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Back to Houston. Port go inside 50, and they've taken a mark straight away through Mitch Georgiades out on a long lead. And he has the first of the afternoon. Port strike inside 10 seconds to Burn Jones, and now Marshall in a lead in front of Taylor. Takes a good grab. Todd Marshall will kick from the point of 50 in the boundary line. Number 1 at Port for goals this season. That is a wonderful effort on the tightest of angles, a long way out. Todd Marshall, that is a special kick.
Inside 50, Houston's kick on the bounce for Georgiades. Turns around Buckley, balks one way and the next, and the snap. There's the finish. A second goal for Mitch Georgiades. And that was all class on the run. Good opening term here for Port Adelaide.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The story of the first quarter here at the Sydney Showground. The final game of round 14 in the Sunday twilight has Port Adelaide at 3-3-21, leading Greater Western Sydney 6 behind. There was a disallowed goal at Toby Green in that first term, which replays showed did come off the boot of Darcy Byrne-Jones. So the Giants still looking for their first goal of the afternoon. Big occasion this for these two sides that have just one win separating them. 0437 774 774. Murray in Lura says, will it be another come from behind this afternoon by GWS? The mighty Sydney Swans blasted the Crows with a comeback, as did Collingwood this afternoon. No one can do it like Sydney. Yes, I'm a Swan supporter, says Murray. In the mountains, yeah, well, the Giants don't tend to catch up as well as most teams in this situation. That's the concerning thing. If they start slow, they have to turn things around fairly quickly. There's some good love here for Tiger Sato on the text line. Don't forget to add your name.
It'll be Stephen.
Don't know what's happening, but it's all of a sudden my missus is locked in listening to the footy on ABC. Must be the voices of Jason and Tig. Keep talking, boys. I could be... Oh, no, hang on. No, I shouldn't have got that. I should have read that before I read it out loud. 15 points is the margin here. Your experts are the aforementioned Ty Connelly and Jason Saddington.
I'm happy to keep talking as long as ABC are happy to keep paying me. Spriggy, the Irish accent. But the story of the game really has been the efficiency inside the front half and the front forward 50. With the Giants, obviously... inefficiency in front of goal, and Port Adelaide have been quite effective with their ball use going inside their forward 50. The opportunities the Giants had for the 6 behinds weren't easy ones. Port Adelaide a lot more effective and central with their ball use. They're bringing the ball out. They're getting a lot of release from the half forwards and Byrne-Jones and Houston and Burgoyne types, and they're getting a lot of the ball releasing from on the wing and then coming back into the middle of the forward 50. So, and it's the key position defenders that seem to be higher and getting caught, and Buckley and Himmelberg on those smaller, quicker types, which is hard to defend. So that's something they're going to have to look at. And obviously the kick-ins, the Giants have gone man-on-man in the front third of the ground. It's an area where Port Adelaide have taken advantage of numerous times, but Port Adelaide have came. Their pressure's been great. They've really attacked the Giants, and they've gone after Tom Green, and he's got a bit of the ball, but they've come with a real tactic on how to play this game and set it up as far as a strategy piece around the better players for the Giants, and they're executing it, must be said.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned Port's pressure. I think that's just been better than the Giants' pressure. So Port have been able to stop any sort of flow in the Giants' game of footy. You know, the Giants have, whilst they've got the ball inside 50, I think 2 more times than Port Adelaide, but there's been no flow in it. It hasn't been easy. They haven't had great shots on goal, whereas Port Adelaide, when they've been able to force the turnover through half back or through the middle part of the ground, that's when they've been able to transition it pretty quick inside 50 to one-on-ones. And even from their kick-ins, like you mentioned, that's the time when they've also been able to hit up and get the ball inside 50 in a few more one-on-ones. And I think through that, Port's efficiency has just been a bit better going inside 50. A few more quarter-time numbers, Garby?
I just wonder if the Giants need to put some work into Dan Houston. What a quarter he had. 8 disposals, 4 inside 50s, 3 score involvements, 326 metres gained. That's more than 100 metres to the next best. He's having a huge impact off half-back. Burgoyne, Farrell and Wines all with 8 disposals. Callahan's been busy for the Giants with 8. Whitfield and Toby Green with 7. Tom Green just the 5. Horn Francis just a 2 for Port. He needs to get in the game, but his team has a 15-point lead.
Into the second term we go on ABC Sport. As Daniel Gar mentioned, Port Adelaide by 15 points here over the Giants. As we do restart, Soldo wins it down. Bedford tangled up down there with Butters. McEntee plucks it clear. Hurries a high ball inside forward 50, but Taylor dives to his right to take the intercept mark for the Giants. He's up and running here. Is the All-Australian of a couple of years ago. Shares it with Iden, and now Buckley spills it out of bounds for a throw-in. So after all that, a stoppage inside 50 for the Power, who lead by 15 inside the opening 30 seconds of this second term on ABC Sport.
Again, Port just denied any space for the Giants. Every time they handballed, the next player was under pressure. Their come-forward defence has been very good.
Briggs wins the tap. Favours Butters, though. Quick handball to Drew. Giants win it back, though, inside defensive 50. Bedford and then Himmelberg. Ward ran into trouble in the form of Byrne-Jones, who then lost the handle on the footy but was tackled without it by Connor Iden. So Darcy Byrne-Jones will have a shot from 40 out, slight angle to the right to extend Port's lead potentially to 21 points.
And he earned that because he came forward, didn't he, onto Callum Ward. As soon as the handball sat up, he came up onto Callum Ward and laid the tackle, put the pressure on, and then once Ward spilled the ball and Burne-Jones went after it, Wardy then tackled him, and obviously, he didn't have the footy, so Burne-Jones earned that free kick. He did really well in his defensive effort.
He was named an All-Australian as a halfback in 2020, Darcy Burne-Jones. He's a goal kicker now for Port with 16 for the season. This one, though, drifts across the face and through for a behind. Port 3-4-22, the Giants 6 behinds. Sunday afternoon footy, ABC Sport.
I think they're trying to get that handball game going at halfback. They've overdone it. You saw Taylor in the last one. Obviously, him and Berg and Ward are trying to get it going a bit with the run and bounce and gun from halfback, that orange tsunami feel. Just not quite happening.
Giants go from defence through Whitfield. Radungalea in the contest there against Hogan. Wins it down. Hampas, Farrell to Butters. Good pressure from O'Halloran. Radungalea on hands and knees. Takes on Lekalia. The ladder wins it away here for the Giants. Through Kelly and now O'Halloran. Brent Daniels sweeping hand pass wide. Goal side is Cal Brown. All by himself. His cabinet full forward. No one's with him. He straightens up, but not enough. The Giants kick the footy absolutely anywhere except between the big middle sticks. That's now 7 behind the Giants. They trail Port 3-4-22. Early stages, second term. This is Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I reckon he looked he looked at Toby Green in the goal square and thought about it, and it kind of put him off. He had more time. He could have straightened up almost. But
it was the Callum Brown kick to him, though.
It wasn't great either.
That was poor. When they had a clear goal-scoring opportunity. As Port move it up the wing, that's an excellent grab by Jack Buckley. What an asset he is for the Giants in defence. Marks it on the wing, Logo on the outer side. Giants kicking to the right of your radio dial. ABC, listen up. To half forward he goes. It's Kellen Ward. Game number 303. Port have clogged up space inside. The Giants taking 50, so they work it through Buckley and now Whitfield to centre half forward. And Iden out wide to Sam Taylor. He'll send it long into attack for the Giants. Aliria punches it away, bouncing ball. Josh Kelly couldn't grab it. Willem Drew beat him to it. Now Horne-Francis with a sweeping handball.
Butters on half-back the first there, run down by Bedford. The tackler is...
that came out,
no? Ball up.
They're calling it too quick now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was pressure on the umpires a few weeks back, wasn't there, to call the ball up sooner. And now it's almost... That was too soon.
Port by 15. Daniels pinned the arms of Houston. Loose footy picked up by Tom Green. Shares it with Ward. Back to the younger Green for the Giants. High inside forward 50 they go. Hogan up in front of the pack. Daniels roves it. On the bounce for Kelly. Good pressure comes from Burgoyne. One-handed grab pick up here by Houston. Kicks back from whence it came. It's bounced off the shins of Burne-Jones and finds its way out of bounds for a throw-in on the outer side of the showground. So 3-4-22 Port Adelaide. Lead the Giants, who are 7 behinds. Clock's finally working. 4.5 go on second term. This is your Sunday of footy on ABC Sport.
I just feel like Port Adelaide have been better at winning the looser ball around the contest. Just the extra number there and able to get through a bit easier.
I'm going to Giants running over the top of the ball a bit, actually, Jason.
Well, that might be the pressure.
Yeah.
Soldo and Briggs wrestling, picked up by Butters. Now to Houston. Now Horne-Francis gets his hands on the footy. Has a bounce and then gives it inside to Mead. They dribble one to centre half forward. Strong hit by Marshall on Whitfield. Taylor's there though. Didn't get clean hands on it. O'Halloran gathers it for the Giants. Now to Himmelberg. They're trying to get some run going, GWS, but they can't manage that. Bedford does well to shrug a tackle though, and then gets it to Wyden. Now they're out. Briggs has it. And as you say, Brent Daniels now at left half forward, gathers it, pokes one over the top. It's ill-directed though, misses Kelly. And Port can clear their lines.
Bergman combines with Radungalea and Houston. Sends it across the defensive goal mouth to find Travis Boak. His 359th AFL game. Travis Boak.
They are devoid of ball movement confidence, the Giants.
Yeah.
Overthinking, overcomplicating, questioning what they're going to do with the footy. That Brent Daniels one there, it was...
Jesse Hogan hit him straight up.
Switch back to Alira now. Radungalea. For Cal Brown picks off the Radungalea kick. That was very untidy. And Cal Brown is directly in front, 20 out.
Oh. Well, that's a let-off.
That's it. Well,
for the Giants.
He's not certainty here. They're zipping 7.
Well, this is the easiest shot on goal. Port's gifted it to them.
of anyone on their team at 15-4 on the year, Callum Brown, he's probably the best chance.
Oh, what a mocker. Oh, here we go.
It's always the case.
He was subbed out against the Hawks last week, the Irishman. Let's see, he's almost point-blank range, 20 out, just squeezes it through. The Giants at last have a goal on the board. 1-7-13. They trail the Power, who are 3-4-22. 7 go on second term. This is Sunday now. Twilight 40 on ABC Sport. Your experts, Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly.
Well, you said it, Jason. It epitomises the game, really, for the Giants. They can't create the goals themselves. They're going to have to create turnovers from opposition, but it's a pretty basic turnover kick, and the skiller for Port Adelaide. Look, well read on his toes, Brian, obviously, and looking for it, but at this level, it shouldn't be happening.
He needed that gift, Callum Brown, because as you say, Spriggy, just the 2 disposals and no goals against Hawthorn last week, was subbed out of the game, had that mistake early in the forward pocket when the Giants should have had a goal. So it's a gift from Ratungalia, but sometimes you need those to lift your confidence, don't you? Port 3-4-22. The Giants 1-7-13. Port lead by 9 points, early stages of the second term. Bouncing ball in the middle of the grounds. Bedford's resting with Rosie. Giants gather it through Ward. Now Riccardi at centre-half back. Switches it out wide and finds Ryan Angwin on the wing. Wants to play on quickly on his left. That's a poor kick to a 1-on-3 in favour of Port. Angwin has a chance to make amends, though. Tom Green helps him out. A let-off for the Giants there. A handball from Callaghan to Leclerc, and they spot up their only goal kicker in Callum Brown and a long lead at half-forward.
Just forward of halfway. Here he is, Callum Brown. Nurses the kick up the line to Angwin. Marks just inside 50 here for the Giants, who trail by 9 points. Early stages, second term. Angwin.
Potentially in range, Angwin. Here's a nice kick of the footy. He's going to kick it from 55. He's a lefty, though.
That curly hair, Ryan Angwin, on his left foot. High to the hot spot here for the Giants. Up goes Cadman. Roved there by Brown, who straightens up. This time kicks through the pack for his second. 2 goals in a hurry for Callum Brown. That's back to a 3-point ball game. The Giants 2-7-19. Port Adelaide 3-4-22. There is Callum Brown's really weird music he gets after a goal. Must be an Irish hit. Yeah, 9 gone second term here on ABC Sport. Your experts, Ty Kennelly, Jason Saddington.
Has Sava Ranagalia unleashed something here with that kick he's put across goal just before, and Cal Brown's intercepted it. Now his confidence is sky high. He's been involved twice in that passage of play. Picked that one off. Lovely finish. 2 goals. Giants back in it.
He only ever kicks 2 goals or more, Cal Brown. So across the year, he games his kick goals 5, 2, 3, 3, 2, and now 2 again. So
amazing what confidence can do for you. You know, he's up and about, but interesting watching the ball drop. He's actually turned his foot like a soccer as the ball's dropped it, and he's dropped on his foot with a sidestep in.
2 quick goals from the Irishman. Cuts Port's lead back to 3 points. 9 minutes gone in the second term. Wines with the clearance. Long into attack for Port. Can they respond? Well done by Haynes to just nurse that down to Iden. He's put Ward under pressure, though. Boak's gaining on him. It was Angwin in front. Did well to hold his ground, Angwin, and then gathered nicely by Leclerc. Now they've got their run going off half-back. Himmelberg to Callaghan. And now Taylor has a bounce on the wing. Handball over the top to Riccardi. Kicks it inboard. It's a grubber effort. It's up nicely, though, for Leclerc. He'll kick long into attack. Aliralia's under it. And he takes the mark. So from Leclerc to Aliralier, the mentor to the All-Australian, the master, and Aliralier for Port as the mark inside defensive 50.
Experience one out there against Cadman, didn't it? Yep. Aliralier ups it long beyond defensive 50. Out to the wing. Taylor goes up early. There's Leclerc again for the Giants. Shares it with Riccardi. Almost runs the wrong way. Does Riccardi now skews his kick off the instep in the middle of the ground there, where Bedford's gone into the back of. Has he got the free kick here, Bedford? It will go the way of Ward, in fact, who was being held. So it's a Giants free kick. Over the top, he finds Himmelberg. Front edge of the square here for the Giants at centre-half forward. Pops it inside. 50! Oh, Jesse Hogan. Superb slips catch. He left it too late there for a second when he dived to his left. Reeled in the grab, and he'll take a set shot here from 45 out. In fact, just beyond 50. Dummies the hand pass. Laid off there to Himmelberg. He'll take the set shot here from just beyond 50 at centre-half-forward.
This will test him.
He's working hard, though. He wants the ball. He's working hard. He wants it. You can see numerous entries, and he hasn't got them. But
he doesn't go for goal here. He goes wide of the pocket, where he thought he saw green, but Jace Burgoyne gets back to intercept there for the power. So it remains here a 3-point game, Port Adelaide's favour. We've played now 11 minutes in this second term on ABC Sport.
Houston with possession number 13 finds Boak in the left back pocket. And 359 for Travis Boak, who draws level with John Blakey on the 14th for the most games played in VFL/AFL history. Now Jason Horne-Francis has it in his own defensive 50. Kicks up to the wing. Well done by Francis Evans to break free of Thomas. Off hands though, gathered by Wines, and now Boak still moving well. Caught though by Himmelberg. Gets the handball free. It'll sit up just inside the boundary line on the wing. Lord fell over, and the Giants are all around him. Thomas to Finn Callaghan. Thomas did well to paddle it forward to O'Halloran, and then lost track of it. Francis is there. It's scrappy here at the Sydney Showgrounds as Ward wraps up Boak. We'll have a ball up on the wing. The Power lead by 3 points.
Scrappy indeed. No clean play around that one, Garby. Giants probably had a chance to get their hands on the footy. Fumbled a couple of times.
12 gone second term, ABC Sport on this Sunday afternoon. Horne-Francis shares it with Houston. Outside of the boot, picks off Boak, who marks it left half forward here for the Power. They're surging forward. Out of a 2-on-1 where Marshall was outnumbered. Shares it with Wines, back to Marshall. Crunch from behind. There's a throw. Going to come back here for incorrect disposal. And a Giants free kick going the way of Lek Alia in the right back pocket. Taylor and Marshall are still wrestling in back play. But they get to their feet now as Alia fires it across defensive goal for Iden. It's the Power by 3 points.
Connor Iden takes a couple of bounces inside 5 metres, then goes to Nick Haynes, who drives it up to the wing. Leap by Cadman, off hands to Harvey Thomas. And now to Josh Kelly. Has a couple of ounces. Approaches half forward. That long left boot deep into attack. Riccardi will leap. Off his hands. Port under pressure. Strong tackle by Halloran on Houston. Now we'll have a ball up deep in attack for the Giants. That was better from GWS. They're starting to get into this game now. Getting their run going. Putting Port under pressure, who lead by 3 points.
Up it goes. Both rucks late to it. Himmelberg down to Toby Green from the stoppage. Check side from straight in front, misses the left-hand side. 2-8-20 now the Giants. They trail Port by just 2 points now. 3-4-22. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, Radingalea, who gave up that goal before, just came off, kept his eyes on the ground, walked as far away as he could from Ken Hinkley straight to the bench. Didn't get a look from Hinkley.
Port drive it up, looking for Georgiades, who's taken a nice mark. He's kicked 2 of Port's 3 goals. The second of which was goal of the round contender, to say the least. He's got confidence oozing through him at the moment. Good grab, and now kicks it up to half forward. Well done by the big ruckman in Briggs. Mark not paid though at half back. He got in front of the pack. Gathered by Leclerc. He goes to Haynes. It's a dangerous kick. There are Giants around this. Harvey Thomas is paid a free kick against him for a throw. Leclerc has it, and he works it towards Marshall at half forward. The hands were a bit too slick from Harvey Thomas, and the umpire's paid a throw, and now Marshall has it. He'll kick from 55 out, on a 45-degree angle, looking for Port's 4th of the game.
On live vision, I thought it was a tap on, but I'm not too sure. Obviously, we'll watch back in the vision itself, but from Harvey Thomas, that is. Within his repertoire, this is Marshall, but he's looked for short.
Yeah, he spotted it up to Horne-Francis, spoiled away from him. Didn't fancy the distance, Todd Marshall, gathered by Kelly. This handball is a dangerous one across half back. Haynes did well, though. Worked it to Tom Green. He goes inboard to Finn Callaghan.
Callaghan bursts off half-back, shares it there with Bedford, sweeps it wide now. Cadman evades Houston, dropped the footy cold. That should be holding the ball, it is. Houston
too slow.
Was over him. Well,
great pressure.
And Houston was very quick to get up on Cadman.
Yeah, the front line and the come forward pressure has been outstanding, Port Adelaide. The Giants are inviting it, to be fair.
Power by a couple of points. Houston, a short kick out there to find Evans. Francis Evans, the man they call Frank the Tank. They come back inboard further still. Outs wide to Williams, one of their 4 inclusions today for Port Adelaide. They lead by 2 points, 15 going second term on ABC Sport here at the Showground.
Giants back in numbers, so Williams goes wide to half forward. Lord comes out to meet it, a strong leap. Lecalier, though, held his ground, and now Travis Boak just locks the ball in on Lecalier. And it's played holding the ball. Well, Boak did drag it in, but Lecalier didn't do enough either to get rid of the football, so you can understand that decision.
Actually jumped on his back. Boak, that is.
The Giants youngster close to the boundary line, didn't want to knock it over because it would have been insufficient intent. Travis Boak using all of his experience outsmarted him, and now he's turned it over, and Alia's won it back, but now giving away another free kick.
That's a good
high contact from Ollie Wines.
It's not something you hear said much anymore, Garvey. You can understand that decision.
So, poor Lecalier hasn't done too much wrong. He's given away two free kicks in 10 seconds.
That's a great contest. Ollie Wines comes in straight. He's actually turned his body leg. He's done everything right in that instance. Just because Ollie Wines has gone down holding his head, I reckon that's why he's called a free.
Brownlow medalist of 3 years ago. Ollie Wines thumps it high to half forward. Going up Georgiades. Didn't quite have the set. One away here. Tom Green. Off half back they go again. Riccardi and now Callum Brown. Callahan involved as well. Brown's kick, though, is neat to Toby Green. Wanted to get the hand pass away from Zerk Thatcher. Under pressure. Hot footy on the wing now. Angwin bursts through for the Giants. Spun on the tackle. Works it away to half forward for Callahan and Bedford involved. And now O'Halloran says it high towards full forward. Out the back is Cadman. It was well weighted and he thumps it through. No worries there. Wasn't the tidiest build up that time for the Giants. But Aaron Cadman does put the Giants in front. They're 3-8-26. Port kicked the first 3 goals of the game. The Giants with the next 3. The home side leads here by 4 points. 3-8 plays, 3-4. 17 go on second term on ABC Sport. Your experts, Ty Cannelli and Jason Saddington.
Georgiades, that would have been massive. A bit scrappy from the Giants, but you can see why they played our football with the forward handball and surge mentality and the players on. It's the press up from Port Adelaide's defence, but the Giants continue to persist with the forward handball, and you get a better ball user on Halloran to pick up. It looked like Aaliyah was going to intercept it, but great weight from the kick and a nice finish.
Yeah, and it is. It's that forward handball. The Giants are persevering with it, and it's starting to come off a little bit more often. It's why they've been able to generate a bit more ball movement. Port's pressure's still been pretty good to come forward, but if they're not quite getting the enough pressure on it,
you're going to get
through the Giants.
Giants have the lead for the first time today by 4 points. 80-minute mark of the second term. A free kick paid the way of Jason Horne-Francis. Giants fans starting to get a bit noisy now. A few decisions have gone against them, but they have the lead back. Horne-Francis, or for the first time today rather, goes to half forward and finds Ollie Wines. Quick handball to Farrell on his left from 52 out. Long range effort over the head of Taylor and Lord. And
thought it went through.
It touched some fingertips and went through for a rush behind. So the Giants lead is back to 3 points.
Ollie Wines had the arms up. He was celebrating. He realised there was a few touches, I think, on the way through in the goal square.
Port Adelaide really exposing the half backs of the Giants. They're getting a lot of hit up on the open side of outside forward 50. Something they're going to have to tighten up with, but they're exploiting them there.
GWS by 3. A couple of kicks inside offensive 50. Ends up with Haynes. Nick Haynes, who came back in round 9. Inaugural Giant called to play on. Kicks for distance up the members' wing. There were 2-on-2. Spoiled down from Cadman to Angwin. Burgoyne pinned the arms. Good tackle. Locks it in. Ball up on the logo broadcast side. 3-8 plays 3-5 as we approach time on in this second term on ABC Sport on your Sunday afternoon.
Ball in dispute on the wing. Connor Rosey tracks it. Well done by Tom Green, though, to block his handball. Port win a back row through Farrell. They're at centre half back. Houston with possession number 17. Drives it out to half forward. Gathered by McEntee on his right. Looks for Lord. It went through his fingertips. Taylor strong on him. Well done by the superstar defender. Won that contest and got it to Haynes. He goes to the right back pocket for Himmelberg. He'll have a bounce. And send it up the wing, looking for Cadman. Worked his body well on Zerk Thatcher, but then fell over. It's gathered by Radanglia. Finds Drew in the middle of the ground, and now Farrell will send it out wide, straight to Kieran Briggs. Don't know who was looking out there, Kane Farrell, but the big Giants ruckman has marked it just inside the boundary line on the wing.
Briggsy was about to come off. He's just turned his head. Oh, hang on,
goal. The hand pass bounced off the chest of Finn Callahan. Regathers. Hurried left foot kick. High to half forward here from Callahan. Spoiled away with the power defence. At the drop, Kelly's kick is intercepted down there by Farrell. So it will remain a 3-point lead the Giants' way. 3-8 plays 3-5. 21 minutes played in this second term. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. It's back with Connor Rosie. The Giants, the power skipper, I beg your pardon, at centre-half back.
That Josh Kelly kick in was a little bit like the Brent Daniels one earlier in the quarter. Just a bit too cute, just trying to manufacture something with a little 20-metre chip in that was to no one's advantage.
Port work it from Rosie to Williams, and now Drew in the middle of the ground. Goes long into attack. Bouncing ball inside 50 for Port. Strong tackle down there by Whitfield on Soldo. Strong tackle by the Giants defender on the Port ruckman. So a ball up inside 50 for Port. Trailed the Giants by 3 points. Getting close to half-time now. Another tackle by Buckley on Georgiades, and we'll have a ball up a metre away from where the last one took place.
Umpire waste no time. Soldo beats Riccardi. Georgiades to Rosie's kick smothered. Kelly goes in hard there for the Giants. Georgiades lurking still. Ward there, the Giants veteran and former skipper, goes to ground in a two-man tackle. Ball up again.
Port find it very difficult this quarter to generate some really good ball movement in that front third of the ground. They're winning it quite well out to the wings, Tig, like you mentioned, but the front third is really difficult.
Willem Drew's kick smothered by Ward. Tries to hack it out of the air. Butters goes again here for the power. Drew involved again. Hand pass comes to Marshall, who can snap from 35 out. It's across the face and may have even shaved the behind post. No, it's through for a minor score. So it's a 2-point ball game. The Giants are 3-8-26. The Power 3-6-24. 22 go on second term on ABC Sport this Sunday afternoon.
Lockie Whitfield plays on quickly from his defensive goal square. Cutting across well, though, was Kane Farrell to spike that towards the boundary line. So the boundary throw in right half forward for Port. Finn Callaghan, 14 disposals. Only one of them a kick, though. He's been busy for the Giants. Houston up to 18 touches now for Port. Who are 3-6-24. The Giants 3-8-26. Sunday twilight footy on ABC Sport. Boundary throw in just outside 50 for the Power. Gathered by Josh Kelly. Back into the team and having an influence. His kick is a short one to Ward on the wing. It bounces in front of him. He's well tackled by Rosie. And we'll have a ball up on the outer side.
Giants by 2 points as we approach half-time. Soldo snatched out of the ruck, beat Riccardi on the outside of the boot, inside 50. Georgiades not quite there. Wines tackled by Haynes. Comes out wide again here. McEntee felled in the tackle of Ward. And again, the umpire lurking. We'll ball up again. 35 out from the Powers, attacking goals, scoreboard or big screen end of the Sydney Showground. It's they who trail by 2 points, the Power. As again, we go with the stoppage. Soldo down to Butters. Hurried kick. 1-on-1. Clears the contest. Bounced into the post for a minor score. So the Power keep peppering away. It's a 1 point game here. 3-8 plays 3-7. 23.5 go on second quarter.
Need to get Briggs back into the ruck quickly. Soldo's got his hands in the last couple of clearances as well. There's only 3 and a bit minutes to go.
Massive game of football. So much at stake here for both sides. And it's delicately poised. Good leap by Callum Brown. What a quarter he's had. Kicked 2 goals for the Giants and is involved in everything. Marks this strongly at half-back. Now plays on the Irishman. Pokes one over the top. Gaelic football style to Harry Himmelberg. Ty Connelly liked that one as Himmelberg switches it out wide. Finds Nick Haynes. He was caught high, surely. And in the back from Georgiades. Take your pick.
And took the mark.
All 3 decisions for the whistle reasons for the whistle to go his way, Nick Haynes. Kept his spot in the side despite Jack Buckley coming back in for the Giants. Kicks to half forward. Daniels is on his own. Should have taken the mark and went through his hands. Gathered it well though, Brent Daniels, just inside the boundary line at half forward. They work it back to Buckley. Pokes it inside 50. Kelly couldn't mark it. Guides it down. And now Drew has it for Port.
Off to Soldo. Shares it by hand again, this time to Evans. Looks for a way off half back. Goes back to Farrell, and now Alir can kick for distance down the members' side. Floating up in the 1-on-1, Ollie Lord. By Taylor. Got a big bump on the follow-up down there from McEntee. Play on, says the umpire. Lord just sends his kick wide to Burn-Jones. Taylor is still out there looking a little bit dazed as it's locked in between wing and half forward for a ball up. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Yeah, Taylor's coming off, or wanting to come off, because he's bleeding from his left eyebrow. I think he's going to go tell the umpire, take me off, because he wants the free interchange.
He's out there laying a tackle there on Soldo, is Sam Taylor, so he's still there. Callaghan on hands and knees scrapping for it. Boak tries to win it away. Kelly beats Drew to the football. Angwin here for the Giants. Wide hand pass now for Iden. They're away off half back, the Giants.
Iden has a bounce. Sam Taylor still on the ground. Now a trainer comes to him. Finds Riccardi on a long lead, does Iden. We get close to half time. Giants leading by a point. Riccardi goes deep into attack now. The leap from Briggs, but in front of him, marking it well was Zirk Thatcher. Played on and he's caught. And he's caught holding the ball. Well, he took the mark, played on, and then went, where do I go from here? And Harvey Thomas was quick on the scene, wrapped up the Port defender, and Thomas will kick from 45 out, almost directly in front.
I was going to say the Giants refusing to kick in a high ball because of their ability to mark the ball, obviously, as a defensive unit. And it's a great mark, but had a bit of rush of blood to the head and decided to go and take it. Not sure he knew what he was going to do, but great pressure and great tackle from Harvey Thomas.
Momentum took him that way, and then he thought, I'll keep going. Oh, hang on, no, I'll take the mark. Oh, too late.
Just had to get the ball in the boot and clear the area. As soon as he started backtracking, Harvey Thomas needed no invitation to wrap him up. Can the Giants youngster make the most of it? What a debut season he's having. It's close to the line. I think it's through. It is. They flew for it, but to no avail. Harvey Thomas has his first for the game after an excellent tackle on Zirk Thatcher, and the Giants' lead is out to 7 points as we get very close to halftime. They are 4-8-32. Porter 3-7-25 after the power kick, the first 3 goals of the game. It's been an excellent term from the Giants at the Sydney Showground Stadium.
Probably just a little sloppy give up again from Port to give away another goal. The 2 of the goals, we saw the kick across the ground that Cal Brown intercepted earlier. That was a bit of a gift. And then that one, Zirk Thatcher, just, I don't know, he forgot what he was doing and played on when he probably didn't want to, but too late. Thomas was all over him, and goes back just, got the goal over the distance. Little man with the little legs, got it just far enough to get across. Just going back to the Sam Taylor one, when he went to come off and he stayed out there because he didn't want to use a rotation.
Yep. As Declan pointed out on the boundary, your experts Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly, that is half-time. A relatively quick quarter, that one, which went a total of 27 and a half minutes. And in which the Giants found their way back in front here. 7 points at the major break. 4-8-32 to 3-7-25. Goal kickers firstly for the home side. Callum Brown kicked 2 in that second term. Aaron Cadman and Harvey Thomas also on the board for GWS. While for Port Adelaide, no change to their quarter-time goal kickers, with Mitch Georgiades having 2 and 1 for Todd Marshall. The Giants by 7 points at the major break. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly.
Well, it's just the game so far is a bit of an arm wrestle grind, isn't it? No team's really got on top of the other. First quarter, it was probably Port Adelaide. They were a little bit stronger with their ball movement and took some opportunities to get through the Giants off the back of their pressure, and then able to hit some forwards on a lead-up and get some nicer shots on goal, whereas in the first quarter, we saw the Giants really struggle to get their game going and have any flow in their ball movement, struggled with their inside 50s. I think kicked 6 points in that first quarter. But the second quarter, we saw it open up a little bit for the Giants. They managed to get their forward handball game going a little bit more. Port's pressure was still really good to come forward and put pressure on the receiver, but a few times the Giants were able to get through, and that's what generated 2 of their 4 goals, was that forward handball to get over the top and then get through and get some players inside 50. The other 2 goals the Giants managed to get were off the back of, one, a poor switch across goal from Radigalia, the Cal Brown intercepted, and then that last one where Zirk Thatcher played on when probably regrets that he did, and Harvey Thomas was all over and went back, kicked the goal. Neither side's really dominated any sort of passage of the game and had any great ball movement. I think there's been a bit of pressure both ways. Probably the half-backs for both teams, certainly in that second quarter, have been pretty strong. Garby, you've mentioned a few times, Dan Houston's been enormous for Port Adelaide across half-back, winning the footy and taking a lot of ground. I think Kane Farrell has also been quite good across half-back for Port Adelaide. So they're winning the ball fairly well across half-back Port, and even for the Giants that quarter, I think we saw Himmelberg and Taylor and Buckley get a little bit more involved in the play too off half-back. So it's a game that's been wrestled throughout the ground. it's probably getting to half back both ways through no great ball movement, plenty of pressure, and we saw the Giants probably took a couple of opportunities that Port gifted them that quarter to go in with a 7-point break.
Off the back of the gift, really, wasn't it?
It was.
The game really changed from that turnover for Brownie in the goal square itself, and it's amazing what some confidence can do, and you get a goal, an easy goal like that, and they've kicked a couple of back-to-back goals. But a bit of an arm wrestle of a game, really, hasn't it? And their efficiency in the first quarter from the Port Adelaide didn't have as many opportunities in that quarter itself. But
because even, going back to the half, Whitfield's had the most ball for the Giants as well. It's neither midfield's really had any influence. Tom Green hasn't had huge influence on the game. Callahan, for Port, their mids haven't had a heap of footy as well. It's just been...
There hasn't been a whole lot of stoppages as they're an open play. It's been an open play game, sorry. It hasn't been a whole lot of stoppages to allow that to happen.
Yeah, and I think that's why we've seen the short quarters too. They've both been fairly sort of short quarters, which means we've probably got a lot to chat through at the end of the game.
Yes,
plenty of time.
quite right.
Spriggy, which I know you're already probably preparing
It's been a big round, though, so we've got enough to talk about. Including earlier at Docklands, Collingwood beating North Melbourne by 1 point in the end, 18-11-119 to 19-4-118. Bobby Hill with 5 goals and a Mark of the Year contender. Lockie Schultz kicked 4. They at one stage trailed by 54 points, the Pies, to win that by a solitary point. Zach Fisher had a flying shot on goal at the end, just went the wrong side of the post. Luke Davies-Uniacke had 31 touches for North. We'll get reaction from the Pies rooms post-game as part of our little post-game and round wrap-up. So Nick Dacos spoke to Ben Cameron in the Pies rooms. We'll bring you that post-game as well. So that, among other things, to discuss once we're finished here at the showground. 0437 774 774. Your texts are welcome. Bill says Giants forward 50 entries need a lot of work, so wasteful. They were in the first quarter in particular. Marcus in South Melbourne. He says, Shonas Atu, Kai.
Shonas Atu.
Shonas Atu. That's like, how are you, right? Yeah.
Time we go home.
The weekend from hell's almost over for we Dockers fans. At least if Port win, we stay in the 8. Slan. Good luck. Loving the coverage. Thank you, Marcus, who's an Irish language aficionado. Ken in Happy Valley, South Australia says, was set to listen to the game with you guys and my fire pit, but it came apart in my hands setting it up. Looks like another layer of clothes instead on a cold night in Adelaide. Great call, lads. Thank you, Ken. Yes, right across the ABC Radio network and on News Radio and, of course, the world-famous ABC Listen app. It is halftime here with the Giants leading by 7 points.
It's a bit early in the season for predictors and things like that. But
it's not, Garby. Go for it. No, it's not.
As a game like this, you start to look at the live ladder. I mean, the Giants up from 9th to 5th as it stands with just a 7-point lead. It is such a massive game in terms of the hopes of both of these sides. Like, Port come here and win. They get that belief that they can take some big scalps. This big question mark on them maybe dissipates a touch. You can see the Giants, I mean, they've lost 5 of their last 7. They're trying to get that confidence back. They've got Sydney next week in a mammoth derby, and they are so far and away the best team in the comp right now. They need to get a victory to just reaffirm their hopes for the flag, which they still believe they can win, and just to give them some confidence ahead of just a monster game next week against a team that is just all conquering right now.
Well, that group is so tight. Obviously, Sydney are off, and catch us, and it's from a Sydney perspective, and the group behind is really so important. Now, it seems to be the groups behind. They've got so many injuries that the teams are falling apart themselves and missing players at key moments. And certainly this part of the year, with the change of the season, the change in the bye also, some teams are going to have a 12-week run-in to the end of the season because of the shift in the bye and the starting the opening round. So it's a bit of a new model as far as the run home. And the Giants are one of those teams who got a longer run-in from the bye. But you're right, it's a huge game as far as where you sit and your confidence piece going forward. And from a Giants perspective, they've looked just so clunky. Just not quite there. We saw a bit of it in that goal when Cadman got the one on the forward handball stuff, but you saw the injuries from Daniels and Josh Kelly, and just a bit clunky and not special. They don't know whether to go fast or go slow at times.
7 points the difference the Giants' way here, with Port Adelaide leading by 15 points at quarter time. So a turnaround in that second quarter. The Giants by 7 at the major break. The second half is not too far away here at the Sydney Showground, but right now, time for ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Israel has announced what it terms a daily tactical pause in military activity in a region of Gaza. The Israeli military says there'll be a daily pause in military activity in parts of southern Gaza to allow more aid to flow into the enclave. International aid organisations have been warning of a growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, which has been cut off since fighting erupted last October following a deadly attack by Hamas fighters on Israel. A draft communique for a landmark peace summit on Ukraine is calling for Russia to respect its neighbours' territorial integrity. Delegates from more than 90 countries are attending the conference, which is being hosted by Switzerland. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz says Russia's war has had far-reaching global consequences.
This illegal war of aggression has shattered peace and brought imperialism back to the European continent. This war has endangered international food and energy security. It has put the threat of a nuclear catastrophe back on our minds.
New Caledonia's international airport is set to reopen tomorrow after its closure during recent unrest in the French Pacific Territory. The unrest erupted last month after France moved to change voting rights there. Deadly rioting led the declaration of a state of emergency and deployment of French troops, as well as a lengthy closure of the airport. A civilian New South Wales police employee has been charged with a domestic violence-related offence following an investigation. Mount Druitt Police responded to a report of domestic violence in Sydney's West late on Saturday night, and on Sunday afternoon they charged a 36-year-old woman with common assault. The unsworn police officer's employment is under review, and she's scheduled to face Mount Druitt Court on June the 24th. The Victorian Government is looking to unlock more space to tackle the housing crisis by encouraging councils to identify and rezone areas for development. The government plans to build 2 million new dwellings by 2051 and has set draft targets for 80 local government areas. It says the targets are largely based on access to jobs, transport and services. Premier Jacinta Allen says the first step is consulting with councils and local communities.
We are looking to finalise these targets over the course of the coming few months and have them in place by the end of the year, but this is very much the start of the discussion.
Still in Victoria, where supermarket workers and customers have been left shaken after offenders wielding knives held up multiple stores in Melbourne's southeast. Yvette Gray has more.
Police are searching for 3 men involved in the brazen armed robberies at supermarkets in Cheltenham, Brighton, Mount Waverley and Camberwell late yesterday. Police say the offenders were carrying knives and assaulted workers before fleeing with cash and cigarettes. Each time they fled in a white Mercedes, which investigators believe was driven by a fourth person. In total, 4 workers were assaulted, including a 19-year-old man. Police say they were treated for minor injuries. Investigators want to speak to anyone who witnessed the incidents and may have dashcam or CCTV footage.
Australia is set to welcome a new panda pair as part of a global giant panda breeding program. The pandas will be on loan from China at the Adelaide Zoo for about $1 million a year, which helps fund China's conservation efforts. The zoo's current panda pair, Wong Wan and Fu Ni, who have been unsuccessful in breeding attempts, will return to China before the end of the year. Foreign Minister Penny Wong has thanked Chinese Premier Li Qiang on behalf of the federal government for the new deal.
I can say to you, my children, like the Premiers, will be very happy. It's good for the economy, it's good for South Australian jobs, it's good for tourism, and it is a symbol of goodwill, and we thank you.
Robert Irwin has threatened to sue Pauline Hanson's One Nation party after it used his name and likeness without permission. Ned Hammond has the story.
One Nation's YouTube channel, Please Explain, posted a video on Friday featuring a cartoon version of wildlife advocate Robert Irwin criticising the state government. It parodies a recent Queensland government tourism campaign which featured Mr Irwin. He sent a letter to the producers of the satirical video threatening to sue for defamation and misleading or deceptive conduct. He's demanding the video be removed by 5 p.m. on Monday. One Nation candidate James Ashby says the party has sought legal advice and won't be removing the video. He's invited Mr Irwin to dinner with himself and Pauline Hanson to discuss the situation.
And in AFL, Collingwood has come from 54 points down to beat North Melbourne by a point at Docklands Stadium. ABC News.
It's the most magical time of the year, right? Footy season! This season you can get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. Unbelievable! AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered.
If he does, he bounces it through.
Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports expert commentary team.
A wonderful goal! Game, set, bingo!
100% pure footy, live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Galea. Turnover. Cal Brown picks off the Galea kick. That was very untidy. And Cal Brown is directly in front. 20 out. Almost point-blank range. 20 out. Just squeezes it through. The Giants at last have a goal on the board. High to the hot spot here for the Giants. Up goes Cadman. Roved there by Brown. Straightens up. This time kicks through the pack for his second. 2 goals in a hurry for Callum Brown. That's back to a 3-point ball game. Bedford involved, and now O'Halloran says it high towards full forward. Out the back is Cadman. It was well weighted, and he thumps it through. No worries there. Wasn't the tidiest build up that time for the Giants. But Aaron Cadman does put the Giants in front.
The leak from Briggs, but in front of him, Mark Newell was Dirk Thatcher. Played on and he's caught. And he's caught holding the ball. Well, he took the mark, played on, and then went, where do I go from here? And Harvey Thomas was quick on the scene, wrapped up the Port defender. Thomas will kick from 45 out, almost directly in front. Can the Giants youngster make the most of it? What a debut season he's having. Close to the line. I think it's through. It is. They flew for it, but to no avail. Harvey Thomas has his first for the game.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
The sounds of the second quarter as we close the curtain on AFL round 14 here at the Sydney Showground. It's GWS, the Giants 4-8-32, leading Port Adelaide 3-7-25. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dan Garb, Ty Kennelly, Jason Saddington, Declan Byrne for the final game of round 14. After earlier at Docklands, Collingwood beat North Melbourne by 1 solitary point in the end. 119 to 118, 18-11 to 19-4. Bobby Hill with 5 goals and a Mark of the Year contender. We'll hear from Nick Dacos speaking to Ben Cameron and the winners' rooms in our post-game wrap-up here in about an hour or so's time. You can keep your texts coming as well, 0437 774 774. More of those shortly. Around the grounds across other sports in the National Rugby League competition. In Newcastle, the second half, Penrith leads Newcastle 20 points to 12. And earlier at Brookvale, Manly Warringah 30 beat St George Illawarra 14. There was also in the netball, there's a live score from Super Netball. In the fourth quarter, the West Coast Fever 62 leads the New South Wales Swifts 51. And a little earlier on, the Mavericks of Melbourne beat the Queensland Firebirds 73 to 61. But plenty of discussion around that result at Docklands. They were 54 points down, the Pies, against the Kangaroos. We thought, OK, 2 wins in a row here for the Kangaroos. There are a few moments towards the end, which we'll sort of dissect later on. But Ty sat over watching it in the box. Bailey Scott is paid a mark. 2 Magpies rush up to him. Perhaps should have been 50 at right half forward, taking him within range, but it wasn't to be.
Have the balls to call it. I'm sorry.
Kangaroos fans should feel a bit aggrieved, do you think?
I know.
Did he take the advantage and play on with the handball?
Well, I don't know if it was touched or did he take the advantage and try and play on, which either or. Oh. If he didn't, it's a 50 every day of the week because the 2 of them charged at him and stepped over the mark. So,
and again, you lose a game when you're 9 goals up.
True.
Probably should come in.
Do you know what? The funniest thing, it's one of those games you go, if Collingwood had a loss, you would have been like, can't believe Collingwood lost that game to North Melbourne.
Yeah.
North Melbourne lose, you go, I can't believe they've lost that game.
Yeah.
4 points
True.
up.
True.
Oh, I should also mention, if I'm doing little shout-outs, like Campy sent some text through about the footy with your young fellas involved. I should mention that it's Country Week Colts out in WA at the moment. They've been playing in Coolin, and the Peel Cavaliers, featuring my nephew, Callan Sprigg, he kicked 2 goals in the GF. They won the Country Week Grand Final.
Your nephew?
Kicked 6 goals yesterday, 2 goals today, and he got named in the All-Star Championship side, thanks to my sister-in-law Rachel. Anyway,
what's that under what? What age group?
Colts is like 18.
18.
Oh yeah, 18. Yeah.
Anyway, it just came to hand a short time ago, so I thought I'd just give it a whirl. You can text us across.
It's pretty that can play footy.
0437 774 774. I like this, very obscure from Robin Northcote. Hey, folks, did you know Houston's 18 disposals, 3 score assists, 2 goal assists, 4 inside 50s and 4 rebound 50s is the first time a player has done that or better in a half of footy since our own Brett Delidio in 2014, who had 20 disposals, 2 goal assists, 4 score assists, 4 inside 50s and 5 rebound 50s, also against the Giants, who Lids also played for later on. Houston also the first power player ever to do this. Rob,
how do you know this?
Rob, I believe you. I'm not going to check it. It sounds like it's... is
that AI, Rob?
But it does speak to the point that Dan Houston is having a great half of footy. We spoke about his effort so far.
I love my football. But, Rob, it's Sunday afternoon. What are you doing at home?
I feel like if you weren't here, Ty, you'd be somewhere not correlated. RJ says, hi, guys, just hoping Power get their turbo going. That's from RJ and Druin.
Yeah.
Teams are back out there. The second half not too far away. Keep your texts coming, 0437 774 774. And I'll even say, if you've had a personal highlight across your footy weekend, like if I'm going to read out my families, you may as well let us know all about it. A few more numbers to half-time, Garby.
We've spoken about Dan Houston. Farrell with 15. Yep. Ollie Wines has been busy with 13. Boak, the veteran, 9 disposals. The likes of Rosie and Horne-Francis can potentially go to another level in the second half. Just the 8 possessions respectively for the 2 key midfielders for Port. So that's something to watch for the Giants. Whitfielder's 14. He's been busy across half-back. Josh Kelly's been excellent in his first game back after 3 weeks out with an injury. 4 if you include the bye. 14 disposals. Callahan 14. Just the 1 kick, 13 handballs. He's been busy. Toby Green has 10 disposals and 3 behind. So Toby Green, you said he was disappointed with his efforts against Hawthorn. Wanted a big game and he's hasn't kicked a goal, but he's been creative. Toby Bedford in his 50th has 10 disposals. He helped lay the initial tackle before Harvey Thomas caught Zerk Thatcher for that crucial goal as the Giants edged out to a 7-point lead at half-time.
Well, normally in the second half we see the game start to open up a little bit, don't we? The players get a little bit more tired. Teams start to get a bit more free-flowing footy and ball movement starts to open up a lot more. Let's hope that happens. I think it's been quite dour that first half.
Yeah, it has. And you also get an opportunity as a coaching group to actually get hold of the game at a half-time and actually change a few things up and personnel and move things around, which has a huge bearing on how the game is played. And that's something I'm sure both sets of coaching groups will be looking at half-time. You get a good break, a good chance to actually look at some vision, see where we're not going quite as well as you should be, and that'll have an impact in the game. Both sets of midfielders aren't dominating. There's no one really as a midfielder as such dominating the game. It's all outside the midfield. If one midfield group or a pair of midfielders in either side get hold of the game, they'll win the game. And it's just not happening.
Ty Connelly, Jason Saddington, your experts on ABC Sport. It's day has become night here at the showground. They've got the very impressive new LED lights, which have become sort of standard at most grounds, like Perth Stadium. They sort of flash and do all the funny light shows. Second half, though, is just moments away. The Giants lead by 7 points, getting us back underway on ABC Sport. You're in the hands of Daniel Garb.
A massive confidence booster potentially for either side who have premiership aspirations, the Giants and Port. In the second half, Giants lead by 7 points and we're away. A whistle on the play, advantage paid to Port. A handball forward from Mead to McEntee. And now Burn-Jones, 45 out directly in front. Kicks it for Port. Excellent start to the second half. Burn-Jones' 17th goal of the season on the run from 45 out. And the Giants' half-time lead is cut back to 1 point, 20 seconds into the third term.
That's deja vu, the first quarter opening bounce, wasn't it? Port Adelaide straight out of the middle, inside 50, kick a goal very, very quickly. Same again, Port just won the midfield clearance, popped the ball over again, and then Darcy Burn-Jones just had plenty of time to just run that 5 metres, steady up and get a nice easy shot on goal. Overlap handball just caught the Giants defence out.
Sorry, Whitfield didn't need to come forward on it. There was a chase and it was an easy over the top handball which forced the second Giants defender to come off Burn-Jones, and an easy enough shot at goal itself. It just needed to be a bit more patient in his press up.
And enthralling second half awaits us here. The Giants by a point. Wonky bounce to restart. Umpire rightly calls play on. Horne-Francis there first with the power. Bedford good pressure. Whitfield off half-back. Gathering, shares it by hand to Tom Green. Now Angwin. Back to Green. Too quick for Horne-Francis. Sends a high ball towards half-forward. Hogan reaching up there in the contest. Is he paid the mark or is he out of bounds? I don't fancy he controlled the mark before it hit the line, so it will be a throw-in
Unless he juggled it over.
It didn't juggle it.
It's going to be a
clean
throw
grab.
right half forward for the Giants, attacking towards the scoreboard end or left of your radio dial here at the showground. It's now truly night time at only 5:30 local time here in Sydney's West.
Hogan looked bemused. You thought he took that cleanly. Tom Green, his handball went straight to Jace Burgoyne. The Port at half back, picked off by Brent Daniels, and he's caught holding the ball. Strong tackle on him by Houston, who is having some sort of game. The All-Australian from last year. There's a very strong chance to be in the team again in 2024. He goes short to Boak. Works it further forward to Zach Butters in the middle of the Sydney Showground Stadium. 15-metre kick to Mead, who now drives along into attack. Haynes flew for it.
Yeah, well done.
And he
courage.
receives a free kick. He got to the front of that pack and had his arms chopped, so a free kick to the Giants deep in defence.
You see the tactic from Port Adelaide, just real slow, little 15, 20-metre kicks to draw out midfielders of the Giants and then obviously create the space behind.
Haynes can drive it long beyond defensive 50. Burgoyne's in the contest with Angwin. Allowed to bounce there for Houston, who's unmarked or at least clear of Daniels. Pops it inside 50. Burn-Jones, second bite, not paid the grab or ball up. Yes, he's been paid the mark. Darcy Burn-Jones under real pressure from Buckley. Had enough of it, and he's paid the mark for a set shot deep in that left forward pocket, 45 out, where he has seen a couple of teammates nail set shots from before.
Hasn't helped himself, Haynes, has he, with his ball use today, and it exits a lot. He's just trying to bite off a bit too much and some poor decisions. Give it to the better ball users around you. You're a good defender. That's your one wood. Don't try and invent things.
Darcy
must have been high. It
wasn't a mark. Oh, he's been paid the free kick. It's a long way from us here as Burn-Jones opens up the angle a little bit here from 45. Rides it all the way home. Not quite touched on the line. So it is scores level, by the way. 4-8-32 apiece. Early stages, third term. This is ABC Sport. And this Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are around the country or across the world.
Buckley now to Whitfield, and Himmelberg's kick is ill-directed. Straight to Kane Farrell, who marks on the wing. The Giants tried to get the tsunami run going. It's come unstuck. Farrell needs to get rid of this as O'Halloran closes on him. Does so to centre-half forward over the head of Burgoyne. Butters is there trying to get hands on it. Did well to get it to Burn-Jones, who then had a fresh air with his attempt to kick it. And that's picked up by Toby Green. Handball to Tom Green. Short kick to half forward. And Hogan marks it. A long way from home. Assessing his options. Doesn't have too much on that he likes. But that's a smart choice to find Tom Green at centre-half forward.
Centering ball finds Whitfield. Front edge of the bullseye. Goes inside 50. Down the corridor leading up. Riccardi missed it. Alir can rebound with Houston. Shares it by hand. Wide to Farrell. Tracks it back away from Daniels, and O'Halloran provides some pressure, but he's sent his kick wide to Ratungalea. In the left back pocket here for the Power. Scores level. 4-8-32 apiece as the former Cat. The big Fijian goes beyond defensive 50. Out to a pack. Chasing it through. Brown missed it. Bedford there for the Giants. Goes the fend on Horn Francis. Walks away from number one draft pick of a couple of years ago. Sends it high inside 50. Hogan doesn't quite have the grab finish. Farrell off to McEntee for the Power. They can rebound through Houston.
Houston goes short to Drew. Still inside defensive 50 Port. Drew gets around Brent Daniels. That's a dangerous handball to Mead. Mead did well though to get away from Toby Green. And goes short to Zerk Thatcher at centre-half back. Sends it out wide to Horn Francis. Haynes read that well. Closed on him and spoiled. Gathered by Angwin. And now Tom Green in the middle of the ground. Pokes it over the top and finds O'Halloran at centre-half forward. He plays on quickly. And it's into the chest of Riccardi in the right forward pocket for the Giants. Excellent work, Nick Haynes, who created all of that.
Yeah, it was a big spoil, Nick Haynes, coming hard at the footy. Big spoil. I mean, that's what you need your defenders to do. But gee, the boys, both teams over the past couple of minutes trying to transition it forward. There's been a couple of strange options, a couple of forced type options and turnovers.
Riccardi from 35 out, tight angle to the right, it's across the face. The Giants have the lead back. They are 4-9-33, Port 4-8-32. We've gone 6 minutes in the third term. Sunday twilight footy on ABC Sport.
This has been the tidiest game so far from either side. A contest befitting the Sunday twilight slotters. It's nonetheless important for both sides. McEntee leaves it from the kick out, sends it wide to the wing where Wines marks in space. They're surging forward here for the Power. He centres his kick now to Butters. Goes back on the 45 to spot leading up man Georgiades. who marks in the pocket, 40 out. And he'll cross the boundary line to kick here, Georgiades, for his third of the day.
Another kick in. I'd like to know how many launches they've had, shots at goal from their kick-ins. It's Port Adelaide.
It was Houston again.
Yeah. Nice polished finish at the entry, wasn't it? You get good ball users with the ball in their hand. Inside 50, you'd love to lead into Rosie or Butters in that instance.
Georgiades coming off his career bests before the bye. 4 goals against the Blues. Here he is for his third. A tough assignment from the right forward pocket. Lays into it. And just misses near side. So with that, scores a level again at 4.933 apiece. 7.5 played third quarter. This is ABC Sport as we close AFL round 14.
It's set up for a cracker to do just that between the Giants and Port. Himmelberg goes short to Haynes. Up to the wing, looking for Buckley. The kick favours him. Well read, though, by Farrell, who spoiled him. Down to Georgiades. That's a scrappy kick inside 50. Haynes is able to gather. Dangerous handball to Taylor. And then put Green under pressure. Haynes slaps it to the boundary. And that is as deliberate as you will ever see. Never mind insufficient intent. That is plain deliberate from Nick Haynes. And that's a bit of a brain fade that followed the dangerous handball before. And the free kick will go the way of Rosie. He'll kick from 30 out on the boundary line, of course.
Just doesn't look comfortable with the ball in his hand today. Haynes, that is, you know.
He's played 210 games, and surely by now he knows that that is as blatant as it could possibly be. Here's Connor Rosie, the Port skipper. They could use a captain's goal, and they won't get one. Is that out of bounds on the 4? I think it is. The boundary umpire and goal umpire having a discussion, and they'll probably go upstairs and have a look because neither man could make a decision, it seems.
I think the boundary umpire
wasn't call. That's a very, very soft call.
I thought the umpire was actually blessing himself. He was going up and down. I'll tell. Oh, that's impossible.
The soft call is no score, so out of bounds on the full, but they weren't confident on it.
I'll tell you the
behind post isn't high enough.
It's not high enough. You can't tell.
Well, I think this will be out of bounds on the full, so scores should stay level. Connor Rosie's effort a long way off target.
Which would remain out of bounds on
the full.
Yeah.
4.933 apiece.
I'm glad we got there in the end, Gowie.
I must say, I was umpiring myself today for an under-10 girls game. Umpires didn't arrive, so I've newfound respect for them. Mate, it's very difficult.
You have that many skills in your kit bag, Tiger.
Mate, that's another off the bucket list. I'm just waiting for a call from the AFL umpires to see if they're short.
4.933. Himmelberg drives it long beyond defensive 50. Cabinet was too deep for him. Strong grab from Williams at the back for the power. Centering ball back here for Mead. Off to the run of Farrell, works it away from Bedford, spots up Boak, 55 from goal, centre field, lays it off by hand, back to Farrell, wants to go boom from 55, does so now. They're all back there in the goal square, but Farrell's kick is just touched by Buckley, kept alive in fact. Iden shares it with Haynes. They can clear off the fullback line here, the Giants toward the outer side.
Haynes goes long, Hogan was the target, but Port defenders were around him, and then Daniels wraps up Farrell.
He's had a huge game, Kane Farrell.
Yeah.
We've spoken about Dan Houston a lot, but Farrell off half back as well.
He's been damaging with his ball, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
He's had 20 disposals, Kane Farrell. Boundary throw in. Well, ball up, sorry, was out of side, but then the quick kick is out of bounds on the full. So it'll be a free kick to the Giants and Connor Iden at right half back.
Graham from Canberra says, I wish both these teams had played like this against the Cats. He's obviously a Geelong follower there, Graham.
Yeah, cool.
Yes, this hasn't been sharp work from either side. It's 4.933 apiece. Back in it comes from right half back. From Iden, strong grab taken by Riccardi. Towering grab on the wing. They all start to move through. In position inside the arc. Riccardi's kick goes long in that direction. Radigalea up in front. At the back, Williams for the power. He can clear hurriedly, only as far as Riccardi again, who marks on his chest. 65 from goal this time. Options are plenty inside forward 50 to bring the Giants back into the lead, but Riccardi holds it for a moment. Now goes, sets it up, high to the hot spot. Who's down there? Hogan and Zerk Thatcher in the contests. Both had a touch on that. It's out of bounds for a throw-in deep in the right forward pocket. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
I'll keep you in the loops, I know more, but Whitfield's been off for about 5 minutes, touching his neck and his head. They've had a long look at the replay, the doctors have. They're just chatting to him again now. He's got a bit of attention, so testing his neck as we speak. I'll keep you in the loop.
That's a concern for the Giants. McMullen is their sub. Palm down to Brent Daniels on the snap from the pocket. Lovely finish, Brent Daniels. Sharked the knockdown from Soldo and got on his right boot from the forward pocket and sent it through. That's a bit of class that this game needed. And it sends the Giants out to a 6-point lead. They are 5-9-39, Port 4-9-33. Brent Daniels has his first.
Yeah, you're right, Garby. It's what was needed. I mean, there's a lot of long, slow high balls coming in from the Giants inside 50. Well, that one was from a boundary throw-in and a stoppage, but you need the little guys to be getting to the front, either from the kicks that are coming in and be able to crumb the ball to get a goal, it looks in this game at the moment, or from a stoppage, the smalls to actually find a way through and get a shot on goal. Brent Daniels, it was electric.
I know,
that one, lovely snap.
I know we're just pumping up Can foul, but he won't like looking back on that vision himself. He's defending Daniels and didn't follow him whatsoever. You know, the coaches will point that out, a defensive 50 stoppage like that and a dangerous forward. Nobody whatsoever just dropped right off him and allowed him to actually obviously take it off the ruck, but then to finish itself.
It's that sort of game too, isn't it? It's grabbing a moment, something that pops up that you manufacture a goal or get something out of a play that potentially wasn't going to create a normal goal like you would, but that's what you need.
666 warning here going the way of the Power as we restart. A Lord beat to the ruck by Riccardi. Giants clearance. Callaghan shoved off the kick. It went straight to Willem Drew. Power on the overlap now through Burn-Jones. It's a hand pass away. McEntee, in fact, it was. Now Boak sends it deep to full forward. Taylor in the contest with Marshall. Whitfield's back out there. Shares it with Lecalier. Callaghan here for the Giants. Clean possession. A clean kick beyond defensive 50. Ward marks in space on the wing.
And they are out. Ward over the top to Kelly, to O'Halloran. He has plenty of space. He'll just spot up Toby Green inside 50, all on his own. And Green will kick from 40 out directly in front. Scintillating from GWS off halfback.
It was a great hit from Finn Callaghan under pressure in defensive 50, and he just saw the players wide for the Giants, popped it out there. They had the overlap from there. It was one player across to the other, and Daniels was streaming inside 50. Toby Green streaming inside 50. He picked out Toby with a lovely kick.
For goal 349 of his illustrious career, Toby Green. And the first of this game for him, he's missed another one. Pulled it to the left. And he's zipping 4, Toby Green, on goal in this one. That is not what he wanted coming in. 5-10-40 the Giants, Port 4-9-33.
Game like this, you've got to take those chances too, Ty.
And a couple of gettable ones for him.
That one, absolutely.
Jason Saddington, Ty Canilli, your experts on ABC Sport. Williams on his left peg, thumps it beyond defensive 50 on the kick out. Marshall there, tumbles it back up the line here for the Power. Horne-Francis beats Iden to the football. Sockers it forward. Himmelberg goes together here for the Giants. Almost overran the footy. Sock it away here. Loose pretty picked up by Horne-Francis, who can straighten up on the run from 40, and it's just offline, hitting the post. Jason Horne-Francis, everything but the finish that time for the Power. It is a 6-point ball game. 5-10-40. The Giants lead the Power. 4-10-34. Concern for Aliir, who came off the ground a short time ago for Port Adelaide, Declan Byrne.
Yeah, getting attention on the outside of his left knee. He got it sort of played around with by the physio, but he's back on the bench and looks like he'll come back on, so hopefully going to run it off.
A couple of star players in Toby Green and Horne-Francis missing easy chances as the Giants through Kelly work it out to Riccardi on the wing.
Game's opened up now, isn't it? The last 5 or 6 minutes, and whichever team can use the ball going forward, you're going to get some reward over the next bit of the game, next 10 minutes that's left.
Before three-quarter time, as Riccardi goes short to Tom Green. Just guides it back up to Riccardi at half forward. Bit of a 1-2 between those two. Now Riccardi will go long.
Great
inside
kick.
50, Hogan in a long lead. Well done by Burgoyne, the youngster, to get in front of the steam train in Jesse Hogan. Giants win it back, though. Poked over the top by Riccardi. Looking for the youngster in Thomas. Gets hands to the footy. Boak is there, though. Just works him off it. Lord eventually gathers it, but turns it over to Hogan. He gives it straight back to Lord. He's gathered by Angwin. It's such a scrappy game. Boak's got the football now. Left half back for Port. Callaghan tackles him. And we'll have a ball up. I mean, it's like a bar of soap they're sharing at the moment. Either it's slippery or they got the fumbles both sides. Ball up at half back for Port.
Giants by 6, 16 going third term, ABC Sport. Boak again trying to work it clear by hand. It's soccer towards the boundary line. Himmelberg sees it out of bounds for a throw-in. Get to more of your text shortly, 0437 774 774. I'll make a vow to read Rob from Northcote's next text, Tig, which he's said about 50 different stats from earlier today or across the weekend, but not in-game. I'll read it later on. But plenty of correspondence coming through there. Game on here, though. Giants by 6 points. Back in it comes on the outer side. Kelly balks his way around Burgoyne. Shares it with Callahan. He's goal side 55 out. Sends it high towards the goal here for the Giants. 2-on-2. Hogan rises above and clunks it clean. 30 out directly in front.
You're starting to get their hands around the ball from a stoppage situation, you know. So if the game does become a bit more stoppage situation from the Giants' perspective, they're getting the ball, that forward handball, which they overdid in the first quarter, but now they're getting out and they'll get a better ball users. In that instance was Callahan, Tom Green going to work inside with a nice composure from Kelly to give the handball to Finn, and then this bloke's launching at the ball again today. He's looking busy, and I'll be giving him lots of opportunities, was me.
You mentioned no goals for Toby. No goals either for Jesse Hogan, who kicked 4 last time these sides met in last year's semi-final. Started approach. Here he is. Again, slightly offline to the right-hand side. So, either team can finish at the moment. Midway through this third term, it's 5-11-41. The GWS Giants lead Port Adelaide for 10-34.
Will these misses haunt the Giants? Toby Green and then Jesse Hogan from easy positions for players of their calibre. Both missing as Farrell. With the kick out to half-back. Hogan's there, though, and he's taking a mark. Uncontested. Gathering well after his error in terms of the kick. Goes quick to Daniels. He goes long from outside 50. It's across the face over the head of Toby Green and through for a behind. So 3 behinds in a row for the Giants. They are 5-12-42. Port a 4-10-34, an 8-point lead. We have gone 18 and a half minutes. Sunday afternoon footy here on ABC Sport.
Both teams just leaving the game open for each other, aren't they? No one really wants to take a hold of this game of football.
Farrell to Rosie, back from the ankle injury. They go long beyond the offensive 50 here. Port Adelaide, strong contested grab. Georgiades, no, he gave away the free kick there on Buckley. Jack Buckley, also back in the side this week for the Giants. Can he set something up for them? Last play back in round 10 from that calf injury. The Giants... Power chant rings around the Sydney Showground. Daniels just inside 50. Shares a hand pass to Cadman. Under pressure. Anglin's got it away by Wines. A good tackle. Ward now hurries it inside 50. Riccardi back there. Laid up the back from Ratungalea, and he slides in to make the tackle on Riccardi. Loose footy comes to Toby. Check side from the pocket. Toby Green. Not this time. What's he now? None 5. The Giants skipper, and they lead by 9 points. 5-13-43 to 4-10-34 as we approach time on in this godforsaken game. Third term, ABC Sport. It's a very important game. The result matters. Well, the footy in between the 4 quarters, in between the final side, it's nothing to be, nothing to talk about, really.
It's going to go down to the wire, isn't it? So it'll be exciting.
Giants have missed a litany of key chances in this quarter. Rosie to Houston. And then the 2 Alias wrestle for it, and the youngster Lekalia wins out. Did well to palm it down to Sam Taylor. They left it behind, though, the Giants, and Alia gathers it for Port. Up to half forward. Well watched, though, by Connor Ryden. Worked Horn Francis off the football. Took the mark at half back. Goes to Whitfield, who's back on the ground now. That's important for GWS. Just has to go across his own defensive 50. Port back in numbers. Does so to Iden. Now out wider to Himmelberg. Giants work it to half forward now. Hands to Callahan. Loops one over the top to Harvey Thomas. Now for Angwin. They got the handball game going now. The Giants looking for Ward. He couldn't quite gather. Bergman put a hard hit on him. Thomas just scoops one through his legs. They keep it alive. GWS now. It's over the boundary line. Just inside attacking 54. Then they lead by 9 points. We've gone 21 minutes in the third term.
It's that second last link in the chain, isn't it? Yep. That last handball or kick before the goal opportunity, which is where they're coming undone, both sides. Declan Bird on the boundary.
Quentin Narkle for Port Adelaide has taken off his sub jersey. Unsure yet who he's coming on for, but he will come into the game very soon.
First game of the year, he is their sub. Quentin Narkle, high ball inside 50. Alia competes with O'Halloran. Mopped up there by Farrell. Will come back, though, for a free kick, and it will be a hole going the way of Alia. Declan, back down to you.
It'll be Ollie Lord subbed out for Port Adelaide. Tactical sub, so Quentin Narkle into the game waiting to come on at the bench.
Ollie Lord's first game for the year too. So there you go. I can do the stats as well, Rob. Ollie Lord subbed out. Quentin Narkle subbed in for the Power. As we're now into time on to this third term, the Giants lead by 9 points. Port Adelaide just chip it around their defensive half.
Struggled to get in the game, Ollie Lord. They went for the young forward line. Dixon and Finlayson both dropped. Ollie Lord has struggled, though, just the 4 disposals without an effort on goal. Narkle into the game for him. That's a dangerous kick from Wines. It's punched away from Mead. The Giants gather it, but then a good block on the O'Halloran handball. Helps Port win it back. Daniels, though, tackling Mead, and Port holding the ball. Giants win it back. Ward plays on quickly to Toby Green at half forward. 45 out, pokes it over the top, and Riccardi marks in the pocket. Got a couple of options on near the attacking goal square, but he says, no, that's too dangerous. I'll have a snap from the pocket. And can he end this run of behinds for the Giants, Jake Riccardi, and put them out to a 15-point lead?
He's just got their hands in the ball more the last 10 minutes. The Giants in opportunities. It looked like they were going to butcher it there with Halloran, but good pressure, good turnover. Nice composure from Toby.
From the right forward pocket, Riccardi runs around on his left. It's a shocking effort. It just floats up in the air. Doesn't ask a question of the goal umpire.
Are we surprised?
Soldo was marked deep in defence.
Are we surprised?
No, that's the game. Is it like the Giants from the turnover advantage? Toby Green streaming inside 50, no pressure.
Just have the shot, Toby.
And the kicks Riccardi in the pocket.
Have the shot.
Mark Lecalier at half forward for the Giants. It's 1-5 to 1-3 this.
But there's been a big dominance the last 10 minutes. The Giants just haven't hit the scoreboard. They're on top.
Lecalier goes searching inside forward 50 to the 2-on-2. There's Alier at the back. Spills the grab out of bounds for a throw-in.
On the full? No, Josh Kelly's looking for it.
Annie from Canberra says, after watching Roos v Pies, this game is horrible. Good on you all for commentating. Well, we've got no choice. And it's a good look. It'll be a great consequential result. A great finish.
Going to be tense.
Just getting there is going to be the trouble. Back in it comes. Inside 50 for the Giants in front of the scoreboard. They lead by 9 points. The home side. Bedford roves it from the stoppage. Snaps on goal. Curls it back around. That might ignite this game and the home crowd. The 50-gamer. Among their best so far tonight, Toby Bedford. And extends their lead out to 15 points. The Giants 6-13-49. Port Adelaide 4-10-34. We've played 24 minutes of this third term on ABC Sport. Your experts are Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly.
It's the second one, 2 forward 50 goals, the 50 stoppages like that. Just no accountability. In that instance, it was Butters, I think, was the defender on Toby. Now, often it's very difficult on that situation when you're actually coming in hard from the boundary, but you've got to communicate with a teammate to actually hand over and step off in front of Toby or Daniels. In that instance, a right-footed player with his ability, you've got to put some body work into him. But great finish, and like you said before, Jason, it's taking these moments, someone to actually create something really special to win the game. But the Giants have dominated the last 10 minutes. They've had free ball, they just haven't and scored some stoppages today already. It's 2 goals, 3-4 points to the Giants.
That was Bedford and Daniels. 2 forward 50 stoppages for the Giants.
And both of them were sharked from a clean Soldo tap.
On the fly,
They read it well. They've deserved this lead, the Giants, and the balance of play in the third term. Here's Bedford still going, having a big impact in his 50th game. What a goal he just kicked. Giants lead by 15 points. Drew wins it, though, on the wing. Goes to Horn Francis, who guides it into the pocket with a beautiful kick and finds Georgiades on the chest. He'll kick from 30 out. Tight angle, though. A couple of goals already to his name, Mitch Georgiades today. Port need a reply late in this third term.
He'd like that matchup, deep in the goal square on Alier. You prefer, Taylor in the goal square. I think Taylor's off at the moment, but even Buckley on him. But nice finish, wasn't it? Owen Francis, you loved the end of that. And Georgiades has had some great service when he's late, and it's been
a good target up there for sure.
He's a super talent. He's bounced back well after that bad knee injury. Port need this. Georgiades provides it. His third goal of the game, and at a critical time for Port. They cut the margin back to 9 points in favour of the Giants late on in this third term. It hasn't been the best game of footy, but it is set up for a thriller Sunday afternoon on ABC Sport.
Oh, no, talk about Garby. I've just tuned in the last minute. It's been cracking game of football. Bedford at one end, sharked one from a stoppage, and then Port straight out of the middle, hit a forward up. Lovely finish. A great response from Port Adelaide. You see the Giants just edge clear off that last goal, and Port to stay in touch. Really important kick. It wasn't an easy one from Georgiades, but a lovely finish. He has been one of those forwards that I think's been pretty good, Tyke.
He's kicked three special goals. The two either side, tied on the boundary, and then obviously the one where he's a bit of Smelko on his right and came back on his left. So he kicked some nice goals, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got some tricks, that's for sure. He's going to be a very good player for a long time.
And he was up in space for a while too. He's absolute crack at the mark.
Restart back in the middle. In the middle here. Mead, get it away. Houston, a run down from behind by Toby Green. Umpire says play on. Callaghan thumps it down the line here for the Giants at half forward. Toby Green keeps running, receives the footy, shares it with Daniels. Back to Halloran, now Tom Green. And now Callaghan sends them inside forward 50. Cal Brown in the contest down there with Bergman. Takes him on, gets a fend from Bergman. And the Port defender can clear beyond defensive 50. Knuckles out there, the sub on there for Ollie Lord. Left behind out there by Horn Francis, who is being held and wins the free kick. So it's a Port Adelaide free kick off half back. Giants lead by 9 points, 27 gone third term. ABC Sport.
Horn Francis starting to have an impact, up to 14 disposals, set up the last goal for Georgiades. Port trying to cut this margin back as we get close to three-quarter time. They go inboard to Bergman. It's a 9-point lead to GWS. Bergman assesses his options, goes across the centre square and finds Burgoyne. Does well to dart around O'Halloran. Guides it into the pocket, looking for Ranangalaire, who's playing up forward now. Sets up nicely for Marshall. A snap across the face, and that's a strong effort by Nick Haynes. Georgiades closes on him, though. And they fight for it at ground level. They have a ball up in the left forward pocket for Port. They are 5-10-40. The Giants 6-13-49. We've gone 28 minutes in the third term. Here is Brett Sprigg.
Giants by 9 points, as Daniel Garb mentioned. A win takes them up to fifth. They're a long way from finished here, though. Still with a quarter and a bit to go. Cleared away, and there by Narkle. Burn-Jones busts through a pack, but he's out of bounds there for a throw-in. Deep at left full forward.
I agree with you. Your comment just before, Garby ran Horn Francis. He has looked dangerous across half forward. He had that shot on goal earlier that he missed that he probably should have kicked, and he sent him inside 50 a couple other times.
Toss back in. Briggs and Soldo in the ruck. Butters shows a clean pair of heels. Haynes chased him towards the boundary line. It's out of bounds again for a throw-in. Declan Byrne on the boundary.
Just quickly on Port Adelaide tactics, they've moved Willem Drew off Tom Green this quarter, thrown him to Josh Kelly. Tom Green's had 12 touches this quarter without that Drew attention.
Both benches holding up the big 2, which says 2 minutes to go in this third term. Soldo, Narkle, snaps. Can get his kick away though under pressure from Whitfield. Now Mead, loose footy, gathered by him. Snaps on his left peg. It's offline, out of bounds on the full. So the Power are trying. They trail by 9 points, 6:13 plays, 5:10, 29 gone in this third term. Sunday, twilight 40 on ABC Sport.
Sam Taylor in the right back pocket brings it back into play. Big leap there by Bergman, couldn't take the mark. And then a free kick's been paid. It's gone the way of Hogan. Well, Bergman got hands to that. I don't know what that free kick was for. It might have been for something else. It wasn't for an unrealistic attempt for Miles Bergen. Surely not. Either way, Hogan works it to Callum Brown. Long ball deep into attacking for Riccardi. Through his fingertips. Bouncing ball. Riccardi gathers it. Handball over the top. Looking for Toby Green, but Zirk Thatcher is there. And he's able to rush the behind. The Giants' lead goes out to 10 points. A minute to go until half-time. Three-quarter time.
I think it's the first time we've seen a Giants player turn and face up the game and actually play on and go. And Brown's allowed that opportunity in for Riccardi. He should have taken that mark. But we haven't seen a lot of it. It's been a lot of run from behind. But when they do hit up, this will be going back off the mark and a bit slower entries. I'd like to see more of that from the Giants, certainly at half forward.
Margin hasn't gone beyond 16 points. By the way, that was Port Adelaide's lead to the first 3 goals of the game in the first quarter. As Garvey said, 10 points now the Giants lead as Iden got a nudge down there from Marshall. Ward follows up, pinpoint kick to find Daniels at left half forward, 70 from goal. Loads up, does the small forward. High to the hot spot now. Hogan takes on Alir and wins comfortably. He's 25 out directly in front. Jesse Hogan still looking for his first goal. Oh, a bit of afters here as well. Then in front of us with Georgiades and Lecalier, not far away from you, Declan Byrne.
Marshall got Iden high and he wasn't happy with it. So those two, Georgiades and Aaliyah, were all going at it for a minute there, but they've split now.
We've ticked past the half-hour mark of this third quarter. This will be the last kick of this third term. Jesse Hogan still looking for his first goal. He kicks on the three-quarter time. Siren steers it through. It's an equal game-high lead, and the Giants' biggest advantage of this game so far, 7:14.56 to 5:10.40 at the final change here at the Showground. Jesse Hogan at last joined the list of goal kickers, joining Callum Brown with 2. Cadman, Bedford in that third term as well. Daniels and Harvey Thomas all on the board for GWS. Meanwhile, for Port Adelaide, Mitch Georgiades coming off his 4-goal haul last week, or pre the bye against Carlton, has 3 for the visitors, with Todd Marshall and Darcy Byrne-Jones also on the board. The Giants by 16 points at the final change. An enthralling finish coming away to close round 14 from here at the Sydney Showground. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Have you heard the latest AFL podcast from the ABC? Join myself, Catherine Murphy, and AFL legend Paul Roos as we discuss all the big storylines. Feed your footy obsession or just learn more about the game as we bring you all the latest news and analysis. Find the ABC AFL Daily podcast on the ABC Listen app.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Have you heard the latest AFL podcast from the ABC? Join myself, Catherine Murphy, and AFL legend Paul Roos as we discuss all the big storylines. Feed your footy obsession or just learn more about the game as we bring you all the latest news and analysis. Find the ABC AFL Daily podcast on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Handball forward from Mead to McEntee, and now Byrne-Jones, 45 out directly in front. Nixon for Port. Excellent start to the second half. Byrne-Jones' 17th goal of the season on the run from 45 out, and the Giants' half-time lead is cut back. Palm down to Brent Daniels on the snap from the pocket. Lovely finish, Brent Daniels. Sharked the knockdown from Soldo and got on his right boot from the forward pocket and sent it through. That's a bit of class that this game needed.
Bedford throws it from the stoppage, snaps on goal, curls it back around. That might ignite this game and the home crowd. The 50-gamer. And on their best so far tonight, Toby Bedford.
Drew wins it though on the wing, goes to Horton Francis, who guides it into the pocket with a beautiful kick and finds Georgiades on the chest. He'll kick from 30 out. Tight angle though. Port need this. Georgiades provides it. His 3rd goal of the game, and at a critical time for Port.
High to the hot spot now. Hogan takes it a Lear and wins comfortably. He's 25 out directly in front, Jesse Hogan. Still looking for his first goal. He kicks on the 3/4 time. Siren steers it through.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
16 points, a game-high lead. Greater Western Sydney leads Port Adelaide 3/4 time here at the Sydney Showground. This is ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington, Ty Canelli, Declan Byrne on the boundary. Your texts remain welcome. 0437 774 774. Earlier, Collingwood beat North Melbourne by a point at Docklands. A couple coming here from our old home state, Garby, our in WA. It's night time here. I bet it's probably like a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon out in WA. Having a listen on my way to the airport, about to fly to Kalgoorlie. How good was that comeback by the Pies, says Simon. Rob from Newport says, great coverage, lads. As an Essendon supporter, says Razor, I can't like Collingwood, but I'm very impressed with their resolve to never give up. Razor from Rockingham, another one out west. Adam is driving back to Albury from... I can't attempt that. Loving the call. Massive game from George Wardlaw earlier today. Is the rising star his to lose now? Asks Adam. Wardlaw at the Roos.
Yeah, he's a gun.
Word, Tigers. He's been good for a while, but still rising star eligible. Daniel from Darwin says, as valiant as they were, today's game could have done North Melbourne more harm than good. Psychologically, they won't have confidence in holding any lead, whether it's 15 points or 54 points. We'll get more from that game later on, and we'll hear from Nick Dacos in the winners' rooms with Ben Cameron. Thanks to Annie for your text, Marcus and Fran from Melbourne, who asks, Has Christian Petrarca retired or just the rest of the season? No, just the rest of the season. He's now out with his injuries. Happy to clarify that for you, Fran, who is a big Jesse Hogan fan. Of course, Jesse Hogan with that goal on the three-quarter time siren. In that third term, the Power made their sub, so Ollie Lord, who came back for his first game for the year, subbed out in that third quarter for Quinton Narkle, who was subbed in for his first game as well.
Interesting. Adam Kingsley was basically in the middle of the huddle there as the Giants gathered. You don't often see that. The coach is usually just a little bit out. They basically gathered around Adam Kingsley. So the importance of this game cannot be understated for both teams. But the Giants need this desperately. 16-point lead going into the final term. Lost 5 of their last 7. Been so adamant that they are the biggest premiership fancy imaginable from the start of pre-season. Have to win this game, and you can sort of sense that in the Kingsley message at three-quarter time.
Where's it going, Tiger?
I think it's gone to Giants. They dominated the quarter for big periods of it. Port Adelaide kicked a couple, but the dominance in the front half. They're looking better at Giants-style football, bounce off half-back, stoppages. Tom Green getting his hands on the ball. The better players. And Jesse Hogan, I would be isolating him every chance I get because his aerial stuff's outstanding today.
Declan, I think we've got some Giants sub-news just quickly at three-quarter time.
Yeah, for the second week in a row, Toby McMullen subbed into the game into the fourth quarter. Aaron Cadman subbed out.
Giants by 16. Final term underway. Near perfect bounce as Bedford is brought to ground. That first attempted clearance. Rosie tackled him. Balled up again.
Been a good sub, McMullen, the last couple of weeks when he's come on too.
Down to you shortly, Declan, as Ward gets the hand pass here off. Half-back Whitfield can rebound the Giants toward the outer side, and Angwin marks in space. Declan, down to you.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 big conversations happening because he's put the sub vest back on. Cadman's taken off the jacket. I'll keep you in the loop. This is weird.
Okay, Toby Green bursts by here, trying to trap the footy. Bedford goes to ground again. Rosie for company. The umpire says, give it to me. 55 for the Giants. Attacking goal. They lead by a game high 16 points. Early stages, final term. This is ABC Sport.
I think the AFL umpire. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I wonder if there's an injury concern. Just waiting to see how someone goes. The Giants hadn't quite communicated well enough with the medical team.
Port win it off half-back. Farrell to Mead, and now Francis Evans. Almost caught by Daniels. Managed to dispose of the football. Punched away from Whitfield at half-back for Port. The big ruckman in Briggs gathers it. Inboard to Tom Green, who had 13 disposals in the third quarter. What an impact. Now to Harvey Thomas. Over the toppling for Hogan. It's set up just a bit too much for him. Punched away from him by Aaliyah. Now Josh Kelly on the left. Has that gone through? Umpire says it was touched by Zirk Thatcher, but it may just be reviewed to see if it crossed the line from Josh Kelly from a long way out.
He did take his time.
He took ages set up to call it. It took ages.
No, well done, Zirk Thatcher. Yeah.
Well done, umpire.
Excellent bit of defending.
Well done, goal umpire.
Giants lead is 17 points.
I did the goal umpiring for junior footy a couple of weeks ago too, Tigers.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, my daughter's game later on. I was umpiring. She kicked 6.
We've got all night, so don't worry about that. Back in it comes inside 50. Tom Green for the Giants. Shares it with O'Halloran in the pocket. Hand pass chopped off by Williams. Thatcher piles in as well and will ball it up.
Well, important time here for the Giants, and I'll tell you only early in the quarter, but if you've got the ball in your front half, trying to create an opportunity. We've seen it from some stoppage.
17 points their lead. Briggs taps it down. Houston there first with the power. Those slips the tackle. Shares it with his skipper. Rosie, too quick for O'Halloran. Kicks beyond defensive 50.
And it's an excellent kick because it's going to sit up nicely. Will it for McEntee? It just bounced away from him a couple of times. That allowed Whitfield to intervene. Well done by Evans, though. Came in to lend a hand. Got it to Narkle, but he sold Farrell into some pressure. Tackled by Bedford. Will have a ball up half forward for the Giants. Had a chance there, Port, didn't they?
Yeah, it looked like an easy out. They were off and running. Just the bounce hurt them.
Yeah, McEntee just failed to gather it in time. Briggs works Soldo off the football from the ball up. Kicks it towards the boundary. That is insufficient intent, according to the umpire. There was no one near the kick from Briggs. So a free kick to Port at half-back.
He's got to stay there, Briggs. You got to flog him and keep him in there as long as you can. Or get him off when Port Adelaide Rockman comes off.
Because Aaliyah beyond defensive 50. Burne-Jones leads up, cups it on the bounce, has Aaliyah for company. They're trying to win it back here, the power. O'Halloran there first with the Giants, though. Ward, boundary side, slips away from Burne-Jones and Boak as well. Aaliyah all by himself, off to Tom Green. Now off to O'Halloran, who fumbles it out of bounds for a throw. And again, it wasn't the tidiest hand pass from Tom Green. So we'll throw it back in, inside 50. Forward 50 for the Giants, who lead by 17 points, a game-high lead, 4-goal in final term. Sunday 12 up footy on ABC Sport.
Giants doing all the attacking at the moment. Port under serious pressure. Soldo palms it down in his own defensive 50. Toby Green is there, spins away from a couple. Handball back to Whitfield. 60 out from his own goals. Centering ball now over the head of Hogan. Port gather it. Houston's under pressure. Got the handball away to Bergman. Now the Power have the chance to launch off half-back. Evans over the top to McEntee. Well read by Buckley. Closed on him and punched it away. Evans gathers it again. Angwin tackles him. And it's a ball up out of side. Twice now Port have had the chance to launch off half-back, and the Giants have read it well and stopped it.
Yeah, well done, Buckley.
Oh, huge.
Outstanding.
Huge close to spoil that one. Port were off and running.
Back in the side this week, you can't underestimate the influence of Jack Buckley down back. Here is Tom Green. Hurried snap towards half forward. Brown goes to trap it. Does so now. Realises he has a bit more space. Kicks to find Kelly, 55 from goal. They're all surging forward in Origin charcoal jumpers. Now Angwin, who's goal side from 40. The finish on the run? No. He misses to the left-hand side. Of course he does. 7-16-58. It's a clean 3-goal margin. 5-10-40. So it's 18 points the Giants lead. It continues to grow, but they can't quite put the game away. 5-gone final term.
Port hanging on by a thread. But they're still in this game. They can find a way to get something going. Kick the next. Will give them some belief as Alir goes to Georgiades at half forward. Sets up nicely for Evans, who sockets it off the ground. But Sam Taylor had front position on Ratungalea, who is now playing up forward. Hasn't kicked a goal since the semi-final of 2021. Saba Ratungalea, who wants to be called by that pronunciation of his surname rather than Radagalea. Kick to the wing is gathered by Boak of Port. Centres it. He finds Farrell. He's got a long left boot. He'll use it. Kick it deep into attack. Taylor's there for the Giants off the hands of Marshall. Georgiades tried to rove it. And then the tackle from Marshall on Leclerc. We'll see a ball up inside 50 for Port, who trailed the Giants by 18 points. 6 minutes gone in the final term.
Couldn't help but think Charlie Dixon down there right then might have been handy.
Up it goes. Briggs out of the ruck. Shares it with Tom Green. Kelly can clear here for the Giants. Bounces away from Burgoyne. Come off his shins, in fact. Tackle laid by Hogan. Bedford over around the football. O'Halloran does share it awkwardly with Brent Daniels. It's a throw. That's why it was awkward. It was an illegal pass. So it's going to come back here for a free kick for Port. And Jackson Mead, 60 from goal here at half forward. Angled kick to find Butters. They trail by 18 points. The Power, they have to get going soon.
Yeah, they need something special here on this injury. Kramer or Law.
Not sure that's the best option from Butters. He wanted Rosie. He was under pressure. Horn Francis gathered it and got a free kick for a high tackle against Tom Green. So the Power, who have been out of it in this final term, just managed to engineer something in attack. And Horn Francis will kick from 40 out, slight angle to the left, to try and cut the margin back to 2 goals.
I get we're trying to protect the head, but he barely touched the top of the head of Horn Francis. Tom Green, that is.
Big moment this for Port and Jason Horn Francis. And he has wasted it. In tune with so many efforts on goal in this game. The margin is 17 points in favour of the Giants, but you'd expect Horn Francis to kick that from that range.
Yeah, well, that was a camera bus coming right back, because that was nowhere near a free kick from one.
They've only kicked 5 goals in the game so far. Port Adelaide need 3 goals to get the lead back now. Hogan takes a strong grab on the wing. Long way from home, though. Lays off the hand pass to Ward. Recent 300 gamer and former captain. High inside forward, 50. Bergman spills it. We've come back here for a free kick for a hold on Bergman. Back to you, Declan, on the boundary.
Yeah, maybe they were just waiting to see if there was an injury in the first 5 minutes. The sub has now been made. McMullen is out there. Cadman out of the game.
Goodness, one-on-one's Bergman, isn't he?
Plays on quickly. Big pack. Georgiades rises up there first. Can't pull down the grab. It bounces unkindly for Boak, and he wraps up Ward over for a throw-in. The interchange gates on the members' side of the Sydney Showground. 7-16-58. The Giants lead Port Adelaide 5-11-41. 8 gone final term. This is ABC Sport. Here's Daniel Garb.
Soldo and Briggs wrestling away. Soldo palms it down, but straight back over the boundary line.
Both sets of teams holding off 6 forwards now as well, so it's a genuine midfield battle here with each winger sitting off. In one instance it's Kelly, and the other side it's Bulk, with the midfielders going head-to-head inside, which is a bit of a traditional look that you don't often see.
Port Adelaide just need to find a front half spark here. It's Horn Francis has showed a little bit in that front half. Bergman, Georgiades, but who's it going to be?
Yeah, is it Rosie who's got forward? You know,
Yeah.
you probably...
I need something, some sort of spark, something different up there.
Free kick to Briggs against Soldo from the boundary throw-in in front of Port's bench. Briggs goes short to Connor Iden at centre half back. Giants lead by 17 points. The next goal for them would be crucial. Port kick the next and is right back in the balance again.
Iden kicks deep to the outer wing. Well judged by Buckley, that with a flight. He gets into stride down the outer side. Has room to bounce. Man running shotgun with him out there is Thomas. In fact, Nick Mullen can finish from 45. Not quite. The sub into the action with that attempt at goal on the run, but he does miss to the left-hand side. So it's...
Lower your eyes. He's hit a target. Everyone.
He's
I know.
quick to join into the game that we've been watching for the last 3 quarters. He's kicked points.
Giants by 18 points. 10 gone, final term.
Houston with possession, number 31. Goes short to Burgoyne. Cadman subbed out for the Giants, struggling a bit at the moment, the former number 1 draft pick. Max Krzyzewski in the VFL putting a lot of pressure on him for a spot in this Giants side.
Yeah, he was very good again today.
They work it out to the wing, do Port. Narkle, he's a sub for the Power. Gathers it nicely. The kick to half forward, looks for Ratugalea and finds it. Marking, sliding to his knees.
Soldo deep, he's testing Briggs again.
Ratugalea goes into the pocket. Haynes is in front of Georgiades. The 2 number 19s did well, Haynes, to win that contest. And gathering it now is Iden. 2 Haynes in the pocket. He'll have a bounce. He invites pressure from Drew, but did well under pressure to kick low and find Halloran on the chest at halfback.
Halloran kicked 4 goals last week. Plays on from the flank. Defensive side of halfway. This one missed Hogan. Mopped up by Bergman now for the Power. Sends it deep back from whence it came. High inside forward 50. Running stuck. Running away. The big pack crash here. They'll pick out a free kick for a high tackle. 3 Power players hit the deck. It's going to go the way of Marshall, in fact, and all that. Soldo was in there as well. Didn't see it in real time, but
it's a lot of bodies.
There's bodies everywhere. I'm not too sure.
I like 10-pin bowling pins. As they all hit the deck. Todd Marshall to go back and take his set shot from 35 out on an angle better than 45 degrees. Almost was a giant, Todd Marshall.
No.
Buckley had his hand resting on his shoulder.
Could have been a giant, Todd Marshall. He was in the academy for a little while. Takes his set shot from 45. They must kick this. You would think it's away to the right. They stay in touch to the tune of 17 points. That's the Giants' lead here. 7-17 plays 5-12. 12 going final term, ABC Sport on this Sunday afternoon.
It's free kicks they're getting now, Jace. That's the last one. The 2 camera busts obviously came back. The second one there at Marshall.
Boy from Deniliquin.
Still plenty of time for Port as Himmelberg brings it back in. Hogan with the attempt to mark it, gathered by Alir. Now the Giants can go. Hogan wins it back. Over the top to Toby Green, snaps it to half forward, and Riccardi marks. Has Kelly in support, running off him. Handball over the top to Daniels. He's just outside 50, centering ball. Narkle with the leap. It falls into Tom Green's chest.
It's a free kick.
It's a free kick anyway, because Narkle's leap was not a realistic attempt to mark the football. So Tom Green hands the ball over to Toby Green, who wins the free kick. And if he can send this through for his first of the game after kicking 5 behinds, it makes it very difficult for Port.
He's no chance. 7-17.
Either way, he's going to have a goal, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's at 6 points.
The captain needs to step up and kick accurately for the first time in this game for his side. From 30 out, directly in front. Now Toby has one. It wasn't a convincing effort, but it's the goal that his game has deserved and that the Giants wanted badly to make it very difficult for Port Adelaide from here. The lead is 23 points. The Giants are 8-17-65, Port 5-12-42, and we have gone 13 minutes in the final term.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a convincing finish from Toby. I think he just snuck it in the end. But it is a very important goal. 23 points is the biggest margin of the game, and the way the game's been played and the opportunities that haven't been created from both teams, and especially Port Adelaide in this second half, it's hard to see Port being able to pull back a 23-point lead. There's no spark in their front half at the moment. So very important goal there from Toby Green to push his margin out.
0437 774 774. Grant in freezing Hobart enjoying the call. Would I be correct in saying both teams are playing like they have a bye next week? Go the Blues next week. Yeah, well, Port had their bye last week. For the Giants, it's anything but. The Swans next week.
Maybe they want the bye instead of playing Sydney.
Yeah, biggest test in the competition, their crosstown rival. Free kick going Port's way from the clearance. Butters goes down the corridor, spots up the chest of Narkle, who marks 40 out directly in front. If they can nullify that Toby Green goal,
yeah,
they're still in with a stiff here, Port Adelaide.
You clearly want back-to-back goals. First of all, he's got to kick this one, but that's exactly right. You bring back some momentum your way with a back-to-back goal, but nice finish from Burtis.
Was it Narkle that gave away the free kick?
Yeah.
Green down the other end, yeah. So he's trying to make amends here.
Tonight's sub for the Power, who connect from 48 out. No angle to speak of. It's got the distance, hits the posts. That's cruel for the Power. And Quinton Narkle, margin 22 points the Giants' way. 8-17, 65 to 5, 13, 43. 15 gone, final turn. This is ABC Sport.
Himmelberg goes short to Kelly, who has been fantastic on his return. 8 score involvements, 6 inside 50s, and now 24 disposals. Up to the wing, Riccardi on a long lead. Takes a good mark. The Giants happy to just control the football now. Still plenty of time left in this game, but they lead by 22 points. And just need to find a way, GWS, to get over the line here. Lost 5 of their last 7. They can move up to 5th if they can secure the 4 points and above Port Adelaide. Excellent grab by Angwin. In fact, it was Harvey Thomas. Isn't this youngster impressive? His debut season, at times he's looked like an experienced campaigner. That was a nice grab. Kicks to half forward now. Riccardi takes an excellent mark overhead. 52 out. Centres the football. Callum Brown is front position. Couldn't mark on the second attempt. Zerk just spoiled it. Lecalia's there. He's taken to the ground by Marshall. We'll have a ball up just inside 50 for the Giants, who lead by 22 points. Sunday twilight footy on ABC Sport. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're listening.
Wouldn't mind seeing a Lecalia go. He hasn't kicked one in his early career so far. Plays down back. Here is Daniels, flying shot on goal. It's gone out of bounds on the full. So it will be a Port Adelaide ball from the right back pocket. Olympic Stadium end of the showground. 22 points is the Giants' lead here. 16 gone, final term. Big post-game wrap-up coming your way. We'll wrap up round 14. Look ahead to next week, of course. You can keep your text coming, 0437 774 774. As well as, of course, the reaction from the winners and maybe losers here as well. And Nick Dacos earlier after the Pies 1-point win over the Kangaroos at Docklands. Up the outer side they go here, Port Adelaide. Himmelberg running start. Takes a chest mark.
Himmelberg can send this back into attacking 50 for the Giants. It's a low ball into attack. Toby Green did well just to get his body in front of Jace Burgoyne, but couldn't take the mark, so it's over the boundary line for a throw-in. Just inside attacking 50 for the Giants. Left half forward, attacking the right of your radio dial or your ABC Listen app. Adam Kingsley's side, leading by 22 points. They kick the next. Could be just about game over. Riccardi gets front position on Wines. Gathered nicely by Bergman to Butters, and now Farrell. Quick hands to Houston, and Port can go.
Oh, like a shotgun. Houston bursts away off half-back, goes high toward the outer side. On the bounce for Georgiades. And now Whitfield keeps it alive for the Giants, and he's brought out of bounds by McEntee. I should say slingshot I'm looking for. That was Houston off half-back, just through the gap there. And they couldn't quite finish it off half-forward. Well, shotgun sort of, I don't know, it just sounds too violent for me.
Works.
Slingshot just, you know, a little bit more PG. 22 points is the Giants' lead here. Back in it comes. One down by Riccardi. Butters bursts through here for the Power. Spins out of the Daniels tackle. Goes all the way back to Burgoyne. Not 15 play on, says the ump. On the runway, though, Burgoyne with a high set up towards the hot spot now for Port Adelaide. Who's down there? Marshall. One away, though, by Taylor in defence for the Giants. Rosie lurking. Is tackled by Ward. Didn't have the footy. Umpire says play on. Picked off by Lecalier. The Giants can get away here if they can control the footy. Bergman lays a tackle. It comes wide out to Evans for the Power. High ball inside, forward 50. 2-on-2. Buckley spills it. Numbers in defence though. Tail left to behind. Socket forward by Horn Francis. In the goal square now. Haynes content to knock it through for a rush behind. So the Power were dangerous, but the Giants' defence withstands, and they keep a 21-point lead now, GWS. 18 minutes gone in this final term.
Big problem the whole game, hasn't it, really? But the connection piece for Port Adelaide and the forwards jumping into each other.
unless they've streamed out of the middle a couple of times from centre bounce, they've found it hard to hit some lead-ups.
Kick from Whitfield finds Tom Green, who marks overhead inside his own defensive 50. Just the 14 possessions for Zach Butters today. He's been well held by the Giants. As Green goes up to the wing and Francis Evans takes the grab overhead in front of Angwin. It's getting to last chance saloon time for Port now. They need to kick the next and kick it quickly. They trail by 21 points. 19 minutes gone in the last. Evans goes long into attack. Georgiades will lead. Oh. He fell over the back of Himmelberg. Got a hand to it. So it's play on. Whitfield tackled well. And Taylor takes the ball over the boundary line. That was a crazy leap from Georgiades. He got up higher, then fell over the back of his opponent. Boundary throw in just outside 50 for Port.
Not the first time today, too, he's launched. I love it.
I love to see it, eh?
Yep.
It's great.
Almost came down on his neck as well, which is just got the hands down in time. In it comes Briggs. That muscle by Boat this time, bursting through, third man in. Rosie to Houston for the power. Loads up to go inside of 50. Radungalea on behind there on Buckley. Comes to Willem Drew, but come back here for a free kick for a throw. Incorrect disposal, Port Adelaide. Free kick Giants, who lead here by 21 points as we approach time on the final term. The Giants are streaking up the outer side. Kelly's kick ricochets out to Burgoyne. The power get it back. Now again, Evans to Boak. Loose man Houston, 55 from goal. Pops it inside 50, and Radungalea presents a take a simple chest mark. 40 out in the 45-degree angle.
When was the last time you kicked a goal, Garby?
Semi-final in 2021. It's been a long time between drinks for the former Cat.
This would be a nice time to do it.
Yeah. Did play a lot of football as a forward, so he'd have a technique, you'd think, or a routine.
Asava Radungalea on the approach from just inside 50. Set shot on its way. Straight and true. There's a pulse there for the power. But they need to get going now. 15 points the margin. 21 gone final term. It's the Giants 8-17-65. Port Adelaide 6-14-50. Here on ABC Sport, your experts are Jason Saddington and Ty Ganelli.
Kelly's just trying to be too cute with the ball, wasn't he, on the wing itself? But it was really off nothing, that turnover itself. And nice finish. Big moment. He doesn't kick it, it's the game. No other chance. It's 15 points. They haven't kicked straight at all game, but it gives them a sniff. You kick back-to-back now, it's game on.
Down to Declan Byrne on the boundary.
How funny is this? Sometimes you kick a goal, you go off. Radungalea, he's going back to full back.
Well, that's an interesting move. He was sent forward when the young Port forwards just struggled to take hold of the game, give them a contest. He did that, kicked a big goal. Now he's deep in defence.
We got Houston off as well. Then.
Giants lead by 15 points. Time ticking down in this final term. They need the next one, Port. They win the clearance through Butters. His kick doesn't go very far. Briggs ran into Burne-Jones and took his legs out. The free kick was there. Whatever you think of that rule, that was a correct interpretation.
Yeah. No, you lot. Come on, he's on the ball first.
It's the rule.
That's the
dive
rule.
onto their legs.
He was on the ball.
Burne-Jones goes short to Butters. Port can go deep into attack again. Just guides it and finds Marshall in the lead. Barely 15 metres.
Massive moment.
But it's paid. Can they kick two in a row, Port, and peg this margin back to 9 points? Todd Marshall searching for his second of the game. His first was from the tightest of angles. He'll kick this from 50 out, slide angle to the right.
You got the distance, Jason?
Yeah, he does. He's normally very good set shot on goal too, Todd Marshall. So, as you say, he puts this through back to 9 points. He's still got plenty of time in this game for him to keep pegging that back.
If he puts this through, it'll put the jitters through GWS. Todd Marshall's effort is wide. They needed that, Port. It is only a behind. The Giants' lead is 14 points, but Port doing all the attacking at the moment late in the last.
We got a bit excited, think they were going to kick back-to-back goals. We're surprising ourselves here, aren't we? Come on, 6-15. Got to be real, don't we?
14-point margin the Giants' way. Himmelberg from the back pocket. Drives it long beyond defensive 50, out to the wing. In from the side, Williams spoiled but should have marked. At the drop, Kelly there for GWS. Content to see it over for a throw-in.
Got to keep the listeners on, Tiger.
Yeah.
Keep the game on.
4 minutes to go. 100% to this.
14 points, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just hasn't been the way this game's gone so far. Not many goals scored. Far more behinds than goals, that's for sure. I'll wrap it all up here with a reaction from at least the winners' rooms. And also Nick Dacos in the Pies rooms early after their 1-point victory over the Kangaroos. Tom Green hand pass to Kelly. One preferred right boot. High towards half forward. Aliir spills it out the back. There first. Harvey Thomas runs onto it now. Centering ball. In fact, goes across the face of attacking goal. Who's looking for? Riccardi is there. Paddled out towards Angwin. Drew for company. He's got Bergen on his hammer as well as Radungalea lays the tackle out there on Riccardi. Will ball up 55 from the Giants attacking goal. They lead by 14 points.
I think he learnt that off Jason. Last couple of years in the academy.
It's too unselfish there. Just could have kicked the goal.
Harvey Thomas we're talking about. Angwin throws it on the boot into the pocket. Ratungalea now deep in defence. Couldn't take the mark. Should have taken that off his fingertips. Boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Giants, who are 8-17-65. Port 6-15-51. It's been a scrappy game, but it is a critical game. Giants getting close to a very big 4 points for them late in this final term.
Umpire tosses it back in. Briggs against Soldo. Daniels in that position here for the Giants. Gets up, hands away here to Bedford. Check side from the pocket, dribbles it towards the goal for a minus score. 15 points the Giants lead. 25 gone, final term. Here at the showground, this is ABC Sport.
Kane Farrell might choose to go straight down the corridor here with time against his side.
Yeah, they need to.
Yeah, he will do that, but it's a well-placed kick to Aliir at centre half back. He kicks to half forward, looking for Burn Jones. They come into spoil, do Taylor and Buckley. Falls the way of Whitfield. Now they can catch them on the break, potentially the Giants. He goes to Angwin, and now Bedford, just forward of the wing. In his 50th game, Toby Bedford kicked a big goal in the third term. His kick to the pocket, though, he's out of bounds on the full. Not sure who was intending that one for.
I could see what he was trying to do. He could have went. He looked up to Jesse Hogan, who was out and streaming forward, but he's obviously aware of the clock, and he's going to go slow, and then he's just absolutely butchered the kick.
Port have kicked 3 goals, 12 since quarter time. It's been 8 goals to 3 since that point in the game the Giants' way. That's why they lead here by 15 points. Hot footy on the wing. One back here for the Giants. Ricochets out towards Drew off half-back, shares it with Burgoyne. Underground hand pass for Boak. Umpire thought about paying advantage. He's going to call it back here for a free kick. Willem Drew. So Power control the football. The Giants control the game with that margin of 15 here on ABC Sport.
Evans takes the mark in the middle of the ground. Plays on quickly as Port need to do. They guide it to Bergman, and now Burgoyne is hit hard. And they've turned it over. McMullen to Riccardi. He's got Hogan in space. 60 out.
Kick the goal. The goal scorer's open.
He's happy to just hold it up and waste a bit of time, Jesse Hogan. Why wouldn't you? 15-point lead to the Giants. Goes to the pocket now, and Riccardi marks it. It's exactly what the Giants needed. Just waste a bit of time and then spot up the man inside 50 in Riccardi, who goes short and finds Daniels. He'll play it again. Josh Kelly to ice the game for the Giants. That he does. He's been one of the best, if not their best, all game, Josh Kelly. Back in the team. He secures the 4 points for GWS, and a much-needed one at that. The margin is now 21 points. 27 minutes gone in the last.
Unselfish play again then from the Giants. Going inside 50, Hogan just waited for the players to get down there. Riccardi, rather than going back and having the shot, thought I can hit it inside to Daniels, who then dished off to Josh Kelly, who back in the team this week's been super important, like you just mentioned, Garby, as has the other player that they brought in, Jack Buckley, down back. He's been a very good player for them today as well. So a couple of big inclusions back into the team for the Giants tonight. Have had a really, really good performance. Josh Kelly, his class a few times tonight, it's just shone through. That's a lovely finish and a great way, I guess, for a Giants fan to see the game pretty much wrap up now.
Great experience, wasn't it, from Hogan to see Riccardi on a mismatch, just pop it up for him to actually take that mark, and a lot of other players would have went in deeper.
Middle, Briggs, touched out of the ruck. He does that. He's done that 62-odd times this season. He leads the comp in that rather bizarre stat, snatching out of the ruck, as Horn Francis here for Port Adelaide. Has a couple of bounces on the wing. Goes a fend on Bedford. Hand pass to no one in particular. Himmelberg there first for the Giants. Shares it out here towards Callahan. Swooping it wide. Back to the 50-gamer in Bedford, who can again just chip that kick up the line, where Bergman sees it out of bounds for a throw-in. 21 points is the Giants' lead. 9-18 plays 6-15 here at the showground. The game very much in the home side's keeping.
Well, once again, Port had a big opportunity to beat a big team. and they have failed to take it. That big question mark around Ken Hinkley's side still lingers. Do they have it when they are tested the most? As it falls the way of Daniels here inside 50 for the Giants. He spots up Hogan. This margin will get away from Port now. It's probably not a true reflection of the game, but Hogan has a chance with time ticking down to stretch it out to 27 points in search of his second goal of the game.
You're right, Garby. It's probably not a true reflection. Turns into a comfortable win in the end, doesn't it? Just through probably weight of substance a lot, throughout this second half. They've just probably had more ball and just got it inside 50 more often, that they've managed to get a few more shots on goal and kick goals and just keep edging further ahead.
Jesse Hogan well and truly in the Coleman medal race. This effort would certainly help that. Fails to take it though. It's a behind. Doesn't matter though. In the big scheme of things, the Giants lead is 22 points and the siren isn't too far away.
Farrell, Matt. From fullback, kicks out the dying seconds. Long up the pipe he goes to the 2-on-2. Got a clip in there, did Briggs. Good run here from the power towards half forward. It'll all be in vain though. Adam Kingsley's men will take a giant leap back into the top 8 to keep their top 4 and flag aspirations alive. The Giants, with 4 losses in their past 5 starts, are back in a big way at home, up to 5th on the AFL ladder.
Well, there's a big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking, the other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
For the Giants, Callum Brown kicked 2. Toby Green kicked 1 goal, 5. He had 5 behinds at one stage, got that goal in the end. Singles also to Hogan, Bedford, Cadman, Daniels, Harvey Thomas and Josh Kelly there at the end. Meanwhile, for Port Adelaide, Mitch Georgiades kicked 3. Singles all for Marshall, Burne-Jones, Radungalea, and that's how it finished in the end. Just those 6 goals for the Power. It's the Giants who win here by 22 points.
Well, there's a big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking, the other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. Take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
Port Adelaide had the hot start, kicked the first 3 goals of the game, led by 15 points at quarter time. It was the Giants who pulled it back to lead by 7 at half time. The Giants by 16 at the final change. In the end, 22-point winners, now 8-5 on the year. Port Adelaide also now 8-5, so they don't quite get up there into the top 4, the Giants, but that shifts them up from 9th into 5th off the back of this win, in which they were certainly pushed throughout. It wasn't the cleanest game from both sides, but in the end, the Giants hold their nerve to win at home and overturn that indifferent form over the past 6 or 7 weeks. 22-point winners here today on ABC Sport. Your experts, Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly.
Well, it's a good win from the Giants in the end. I think just towards the end of that quarter, I mentioned that the longer the game went, the more they just edged further ahead. And just through weight of possession, they just continually started to get more footy, which meant they continued to just get further ahead in the inside 50 count. The Giants, without it being pretty footy at all across the whole game, there wasn't any outstanding passages of play, but they continued to do enough and just be a bit more dominant, I guess, than Port Adelaide as long as the game went. Port, apart from the initial opening where they kicked 3 goals fairly quickly in that front part of the game, they really struggled with their ball movement. They struggled to get anything going through the front half. Off half back, they were quite solid. Port winning the footy, Farrell and Houston, but they just couldn't get anything going in that front part of the ground and really struggled to get shots on goal. But the Giants, they had a few people that could find a way. Jesse Hogan's aerial presence was huge. Riccardi ended up having a really good game, I think, as a forward presence as well, taking marks.
12 marks.
Yeah.
Big game.
And a few of them contested, and that's not his strong suit generally. So, he had a good game.
I think Daniels as well,
Yeah,
and Harvey
the
Thomas,
smalls.
those smalls, they've really put some pressure on.
Bedford kicked goals.
and Daniels goals, but it's probably more the actual pressure piece that, that's sometimes it's, you look at the Hogan's big marks, but you don't actually they don't stand out, but, you look at some of the numbers it does, but certainly the way they played on the ground, the pressure around the ball, and which helped your front half football, and hence why the coach Kingsley loves the small forwards because of that ability to get after the pressure and get involved in score involvements, and they were very dangerous for mine. But look, they ran over the top of them really in the end. I think from about 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, it looked really that the Giants were going to run over the top of them, but because they weren't kicking straight, and no team was kicking straight today, which is atrocious as far as efficiency and quality from an AFL standard as goal kicking is concerned. It was and that's why you leave teams in it, and that's why I think Port Adelaide were still a chance because of the Giants' inefficiency in front of goal for a lot of the game, certainly in the second half.
And we saw that the inclusions for the Giants are really important.
Kelly.
Josh Kelly, one of the best players on the ground. It'd be interesting to see where you put him in the votes, Tig. There you go. I've just stopped Tig in for the votes.
Beautiful.
But he was really important right from the start of the game, to the point where I think Declan made the point that I think the tag went to Josh Kelly, which allowed Tom Green to get off the chain in the second half. Certainly that third quarter, he started to win plenty of ball. But Jack Buckley was the other inclusion. I thought he was terrific across half back. He had a lot of dash and speed and won a lot of footy. So he was an important player to those two inclusions for the Giants.
He allows Himmelberg to play a bit freer, Buckley, when he plays. You consider Himmelberg having to tie down a key position. You can sometimes get off a bit. And with a Lear there as well, and Buckley and Taylor, it's a pretty strong. And Himmelberg is strong four as a key defenders, and it just allows him to mix and match a small bit, and Himmelberg can get a bit more ball use aggressively, and obviously Whitfield, but they're massive ins. And
I know we'll probably end up down the rooms very shortly, and it might be something we come back to talk to. Is before the game we're talking about the changes Port made with their forwards, which were big. There's a big call. I mean, how that sort of played out for Port Adelaide. It's debatable.
Marshall and
Georgiades great.
But Finlayson and Dixon are for both of them not to play. It's a huge call.
Well, especially they struggled in that front half.
Yeah, and you put Radicalier forward, and
we'll have a fair old post-mortem here the next hour or so, or post-portum, as it were. The Power going down by 22 points. The Giants make their way into the rooms. We hope to have a chat to Tom Green, I think, shortly. But Declan Byrne, I think they headed your way.
How am I supposed to follow post-portum? Brilliant. It's Riggy. They are making their way in. It's a packed rooms as well. The family have flooded in the last couple of minutes. Lots of kids here as well as Toby Green leads his Chargers in. They do sit fifth on the ladder, which means next week is juicy. 1v5 here again at Giants Stadium. They're just circling up now. A few kids' hugs as well. Cal Ward's got two hanging off him. Lots of waves. Riccardi getting some love, as you said. 12 marks in the end for him. Bedford happy with himself as well. A win for him in his milestone game as we get ready for the big sound. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. The ground is shaking. The others in the ring. Boots before the Giants. And the stars in the highest. We're stronger than the rest. With the great army sitting Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. One to the end. Greater than the rest.
There we go. The Giants sing it loud and proud with their 8th win of this 2024 campaign. The final game of round 14 sees GWS beat Port Adelaide by 22 points. Back to Declan Byrne very, very shortly in the winners' room. So you can keep your texts coming, 0437 774 774. I'll get to a few of them as we go. But Tim in West Hobart asks, when was the last time we saw Carlton, Collingwood and Essendon in the top 4 together? That's pretty impressive. Swans on top, of course. Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon in that top four. The Giants up into 5th now. The Cats 6th and Port slipped down to 7th. Freo stays in the 8th as we go back to you, Declan Byrne.
Yeah, fresh off the song, joined by Tom Green. How does that win feel?
Yeah, it's nice. First of all, it's really nice to be back at home. And yeah, it was good. It felt like more of a Giants game, as King has talks about. So it was nice. It felt pretty good out there. I'm sure there'll be plenty to review, but no, it was nice.
What do you mean when you say it felt like a Giants game? What went well out there that went to plan that you guys like to pride yourselves on?
Well, just our defence to start, I think, was a lot better than it has been. A lot more consistent, at least, than it has been for the last sort of patch. So that got us going, I think, and then from there we're able to move the ball a little bit better. We talk about our game's built on the back of our defence, and I thought we defended really, really well tonight. We're able to move the ball off the back of it.
You had some pretty close checking to start the game. Willem Drew was on you. What is it like when you know someone's coming to you and they're looking to clamp you rather than get their own footy as much as usual?
Well, first of all, I suppose it's a compliment from the other team that I suppose in a way they think that I'm important to what we do, and they want to look to nullify me, but it's something that started to happen a bit more frequently in my career, and it's something that I've been working through with Ben Hart and Kingers and all those guys about ways to break it, and it felt pretty good tonight. I think I'm getting better and better every time it happens, and I'm not too sure, but I felt like I was able to contribute reasonably well tonight, and so I felt like, as I said, each time it happens I'm getting a little bit better, and I thought it went okay tonight.
What's one way you do try to break a tag like that?
I don't want to give away too many tricks, but sometimes making 2v1s, maybe going to another mid at the stoppage and seeing what they do there if they're going to let a 2v1 sort of happen. There's a few little things, as I said, that I'm working through with Hardy, and it's just trying to make that a little bit better and better.
And a good feeling in the second half when they leave you and you get to roam a little bit more and get a bit more of the footy, as you did in that third quarter. I think you picked up 13 touches.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice when it goes away. But as I said, I think even in the first half, I'm not exactly sure how it went, but I felt like I was still able to contribute and get us going with my chain, with my hands sort of out of congestion. So, whether it comes or not, I feel like I can contribute either way.
We'll head upstairs for a few more questions from the team.
Yeah, g'day Tom. Jason Saddington here, mate. Congratulations on the win. It's nice to talk to you.
It is, Sutton.
I think you mentioned very early on here in the interview about it's nice to be home. Can you probably put a bit more into that around how much you've been away of late and how much travel, and then how that impacts you coming into a game of footy to be at home?
Yeah, well, we just do. I mean, because we play home games in Canberra and stuff like that, we play a lot of the time away from home. I mean, Canberra's obviously fantastic. I'm particularly never going to say I don't like playing in Canberra, but that's still travelling for a home game. So we travel more than any other team in the comp, and so when we get home games, it is a nice little change, and it is really nice as well to just be able to give back to our fans, because I feel like they come, they rock up for us, and to be able to put on a good performance for them today was really special. And travelling throughout the year takes its toll, so it is nice anytime you can wake up in your own bed.
And I know the midfield, you've probably been tested the last few weeks, and obviously tonight you're probably a bit more pleased with that performance from a midfield group. Having Josh Kelly back in the team obviously helps that.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think, we've had the last few weeks a pretty young midfield, which is really good for us in the long run about being able to get games into guys and get them experience and that sort of stuff. So it has been a little bit of a challenge. It's always handy, though, welcoming back someone of Chook's quality. That certainly helped out. But I thought it was a really even midfield performance tonight. I thought we performed really, really well as a group against what is a fantastic midfield that Port Adelaide have. So it was really nice.
Hey, Tom, it's Ty Kennelly here. Hope you're well, mate. Great win.
There's got Giants in the box or something.
The Tom Green stand in Canberra. Come on, you must love going on to Canberra. What do you learn about the group over the past 5 weeks? It's been challenging at times, obviously not getting the results, being close, gave up a couple, obviously last week's result wasn't great, and having the lead. But what do you learn about the group as a whole?
Yeah, I think we're just a really resilient group. As I said, the amount that we have to travel, is something that we always have to work with, and it is a real test. So, to be able to, lose a really close game against Hawthorn last week, we're really disappointed in that, but be able to get over that really quickly and then put in a good performance here at home, it is really special. I think it just speaks to the resilience of the group, and it's something that, as I said, I think in the long run is going to hold us in good stead.
Yeah, it looks really sharp from halfway through the third quarter. It looked like you ran over the top of Port Adelaide, obviously managing the break and what's happened over the past couple of weeks. But what was the message from Kingers at three-quarter time?
Yeah, it was just that, we've got to finish the game really strong. We've been pretty good for 3 quarters, but we need to play 4 consistent quarters of football to get results. We know it's a really even comp, so it was nice to be able to put in an even performance and get a positive result in the end.
G'day, Tom. Dan Garb here. A big win. What does that do for belief ahead of a massive Sydney derby next week against a team that is irrepressible at the moment in the Swans. I mean, obviously your mind starts going there now. So how important can this result be for that?
Yeah, I don't think I'll let my mind go there just yet. I think I'll savor the win first and foremost. But you're right, it does move on pretty quickly, and it is a massive game because the Swans are in such good form and they're a fantastic team. But we know derbies are always, physical contests, they're always hard hitting, and they're always really tight affairs. So it is something that we're really looking forward to against what is, today was a really great test against a really quality side, and it will be again next week. And as I said, I think versus the best is how you figure out where you're at, and it continues to build the resilience of our group. So it's another challenge, another week that we're really looking forward to.
We play up these things, and the Giants do it better than anyone. The banter between the clubs and the rivalry and all that kind of stuff with the Swans. But it's only a few weeks ago that you last played them, and then you got the opportunity again. Are you expecting a bit more fireworks this time around against a very good team? Of course, they are a fantastic team in their own right, but the extra added spice perhaps this time around?
There may very well be. I know Jacob Gaynor, our social media guy, does everything he can to wind them up, so there's every chance that some of that happens. But, yeah, we've just got to look to play our way. As I said, I think derbies are always a really physical affair, and they're always a hard-hitting contest. So there may be some more fireworks, who knows. And as I said, I think Jacob will do anything he can to stoke the flames.
Now, you do a podcast with Jacob called The Green Room. Yeah. I was a bit worried that if you lost today, Adam Kingsley might come in and say, that's it, the podcast is done, enough of that. Were you starting to worry about that? Tom, as the results went against you a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. I think it's just I actually have to be the one who's reeling Jacob in, because he's the one who can get off the chain. So, Kingers might have to have a word to Jacob and tell him to just quiet down a little bit. I don't think it's me necessarily.
Yeah, I'm sure I would ask Tom. I saw your footy kit, your soccer kit during the week. Do you actually own a vintage FC Schalke kit for, there we go, the Bundesliga? Everyone's got their sort of Euros-inspired kits on. You've got the Bundesliga club. Do you actually own a vintage Schalke kit?
Yes, I do. I actually bought it just the week before. There was a vintage soccer jersey pop-up called the Kit Dealer. I'll plug them here too, that we're in the city.
On the ABC.
and they were in Sydney, so I went and bought a vintage Schalke jersey, and I also bought a vintage Arsenal jersey. So they were a couple of nice pickups. But I also had my Rafael Leao Portuguese jersey ready to go. We got Portugal in the sweep, the Euro sweep. So I had my Leao jersey for the gym later on in the day. But I just wanted to rep Schalke, and it's actually funny, they retweeted that photo, and which was very funny. So I do own that Schalke kit, and it's a really nice jersey.
Now tell us about that. There's a big draft that's gone on inside the Giants for the Euros. Who's your teammate? What's your team called? What pick did you have? Who have you gone for? Just give us some insight on that.
Well, so we are the Eastern Suburbs Mafia. It's myself, and it's sort of sponsored, not sponsored, but Jake Riccardi has sort of dubbed us the Eastern Suburbs Mafia, and it's myself, James Peatling, Jake Riccardi, Connor Iden, and Brent Daniels. We got Portugal in the sweep at pick 4, who I'm really, really excited with. We also got Croatia at pick 13, and obviously they didn't start well against Spain last night, but they are the Giant Slays. We've seen them at tournaments recently. They go really well, so we're hoping that they can do pretty well. We also then picked up Georgia and Slovakia late. But that's we're not too sure. That's more. You get prizes for first, second, and last. And I'm sorry to all my Georgian and Slovak listeners right now, but we're thinking they're probably going to come last.
Well, I love the analysis, Tom. And just lastly, we joke about it, but there's a club like GWS that has such strong ties to Western Sydney, a big multicultural community. With something like that, the Euros and representing all those old sort of, is that a part of it? You think the club's identity?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, I think, apart from all the travel we do, one thing we also do really, really well is our community camps. We get out into Western Sydney and we get out and do those camps more than any other club in the competition, and it's really important for us to help grow the game and grow our supporter base. So I think, any connections you can have to that area where we know that football is so big, I think helps a lot, and it's really important as well. I give Jacob a little bit of stick, but on social media, the fact that he promotes that sort of stuff, it gets buy-in from fans when they see that that's something that's big in our lives at the minute and something that they can relate to. So I think it does help a little bit, and it is really fun at the same time.
Hey Tom, great to chat. Well played tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Tom Green in the Giants rooms with Declan Byrne, and just on the aforementioned Jacob Gaynor. So he's the social media whiz for those that don't know. He gets far too much attention, but seeing as his name's come up, I should mention they've posted on full time. The Giants have posted simply a screenshot of the New South Wales Climate and Energy Action website, which is under the frequently asked questions of what to do in the event of a power outage. And they've posted that helpful advice for those who are wondering about the power outage. Of course, that's great. Giants have beaten the power here by 22 points.
Very funny that on the Euros with Tom Green. At a press conference 2 weeks ago, he said he's partnered up with Jake Riccardi for their draft or sweep, whatever it is. Adam Kennedy actually got us in the media to ask Jake Riccardi a question before the press conference that he could film on their Euros draft. I mean, they care about this stuff so much.
Yeah.
But, hey, it helps them bond. And
but he did out himself and a few of the teammates as Eastern Suburbs Giants. Let's face it, a lot of footy players that come here, they're in the Western community, of course, as a club. A lot of the guys that moved to Sydney, they're living the other side of the Anzac Bridge.
And then the mafia guys in the East won't be happy.
No. Anyway, that's the situation here. We might see if we can get in the port rooms. Otherwise, it's tricky sometimes for the away teams. And talk about what it means for both Port Adelaide and the Giants, of course, this 22-point result going the way of GWS. John says, fantastic chat with Tom Green. Thank you, John. 0437 774 774. Ash in a very cold Ararat in Victoria, sitting by the heater, listening to a fantastic afternoon of football. Pies game was amazing. Count the Pies. Yet we'll get more on that in a moment, Ash, as well, and bring you Nick Dacos from the Magpies rooms with Ben Cameron earlier. Matt from Adora Bay asked about a possible crowd figure. We don't tend to get the crowd figure lately for games. I'll say, if I get it to you between now and about 35 minutes' time, when we're off air, I'll let you know, Matt. I know you like the crowd figures. Maybe 7,000. There are a few Port fans on the outer side, but we don't tend to get the triumphant announcement of the crowd figure here at the Sydney Showground. Pete in Ballarat says, good day, not sure that the game does anything to suggest either of these sides is worrying anyone come September. Yeah, I don't want to get too existential on that, I suppose, Tig and Sado, but the Giants talk about belief. If they got done here today, that's season over. They're not competing. I mean, they might not trouble the sides in the top four if they get there, but they may well do. It's hard to say. I think modern footy does provide some sort of swings and roundabouts and shifts momentum over the course of a footy season. But the reality is, if they lost, it was more about that, I suppose, for the Giants if they got done today.
It changes really quickly, football. And it could change very quickly for the Swans just as easily. You know, they get an injury to Brodie Grundy or get an injury to a key player like that. So the football, you just got to cash in when you can, when you get the wins. And it can change very quickly the other way when it hasn't been going well for you. And we saw that a line in the game itself with Callum Brown. His confidence just went through the roof in one instance, and it's changed his momentum of his game itself. It can change very quickly, and the Giants have had a lot of injuries, and they've also played for the top five teams in the last 5 weeks. So they've had a tough draw with their injuries out. So if they can get back to the style that we saw patches of it with the aggressive ball movement piece, the tsunami excitement, the forward handball, and obviously they've got a strong contested team, and they'll get the front half going. Who knows? You know, it's you just got to keep getting the wins going and start building, which is something obviously they haven't been able to get the momentum over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, it is that. It's what you do when you're not playing well. If you can forge out some wins and stay in touch with that top four, which is essentially where you need to finish at the end of the home and away season, is top four to have a real crack at it. If you can stay in touch and get yourself there, by the time you find your form and your groove, if you do, then you're in a great position. And it does. You build for it. All of a sudden it can click, and once you've got it, it just keeps going. It carries. So, we're around 14. There's still plenty of time. You edge out the wins. Giants stay fifth. They're up close to it, and never know what can happen.
You'd be silly to write off the Giants based on what we've seen over the last year and a half. But the big question now is Port again. So once more, against a big team, tough test, they've come up short. It's the constant question around Ken Hinckley's side. I know they beat Geelong at Kardinia Park not too long ago, but the Cats have been struggling a bit. Why are they constantly falling short? What's wrong with this Port side that just holds them back from that top round?
It's a $1 million question, because Jason had said at the start of the game itself, it seems like it's been a question for 10 years with Port Adelaide. Where and what's going on with the club consistently. You just can't, you don't know where they sit. Are they a top four team or not? You haven't been able to do that for 10 years almost. And they've played a lot of preliminary final football. Clearly they've got a problem in the front half of the ground, and who the personnel is and the balance that they're going to have to go with. They went with youth today. They didn't go with Dixon and obviously Finn Layson. So he's trying to mix it up and look forward. But you're going to have to try and settle at some stage on how that looks itself and who it is, and give him the game, give him the goal, in the front half of the ground. But I was disappointed with the way they played, to tell you the truth. There wasn't a whole lot of dash or dare in their game. And that was for both sets of teams, but I was really excited coming into the game thinking this is going to be a fast game, it's going to be an attacking piece, it's going to be quite exciting, exhilarating. It wasn't. Now, the goal kicking was atrocious, so that does play a part in it, but as far as Port Adelaide's concerned, they got some serious problems in front of the ball.
Nothing further from the Power, by the way. They're on the bus, showered, ready to go home, so often it's the way with the visiting teams. We don't get a chance to hear from them. Sorry, Port fans. Off the back of that 22-point loss to the Giants here at the Sydney Showground. Next up, they'll host Brisbane at Adelaide Oval on Saturday Arvo. So that's their assignment in round 15. And I'll get to sort of the round and recap it all. But there's a few sides like the Lions who are a bit more pluck, and you never quite know. But it's modern footy, and I talk about the swings and roundabouts, but the fact that teams outside the four can win it as well with the pre-finals bye, all the rest of it. So it's an intriguing picture, that top 8 as it currently sits.
Well, you look to 14th in the ladder. This is as of last week, St Kilda. Like, you can't. There's teams of Brisbane, Hawthorn, Doggies, Melbourne, Gold Coast outside the 8. You know, they're going to come in. There's teams going to come in. So who's going to pop out of that? You know, it's been such an inconsistent season, bar the Swans. And that's all teams have been like that. Yep. There's been no one that's been consistent, bar the Swans, which is great for the competition as a whole. But trying to predict who the top 4 is and saying the Giants are no chance of making it is a bit of a stretch for mine, because the season's just been so inconsistent, and it's going to happen to the Swans at some stage, you would think. And that's just the way the game is. You know, they're not going to keep winning. They're not going to keep going. Because injuries happen and form, obviously, but you just got to cash in. That's from the Swans, but the Giants would be pretty happy, obviously, with the win.
Derby 28 next week.
Ooh.
And that's the...
But it's here.
Yes. Yeah. So back at home, that's the Saturday twilight fixture here at the Showground. Derby 28 against the Swans, who look unbeatable, as people have said. Just lost the one game this year. They're a couple of games clear on top, the Sydney Swans, and it's what's next up for the Giants. In fact, they're 3 games clear on top, aren't they? Yeah, 12 points ahead of Carlton.
Yeah.
There you go.
A few numbers
yes.
to look at of interest. I mean, Tom Green, who we just spoke to, 30 disposals, 11 contested possessions, 6 score involvements. He's come in for a little bit of criticism this season, but his form's actually still pretty good. It's funny sometimes with young players. I think the same thing happened to Chad Warner last season. They set such a high bar. If they don't reach it exactly the next season, it's like, they're a bit off the pace. Chad Warner was fine last year. Now he's gone back to his absolute best. Tom Green's been good again this season, really good. And today he was instrumental, especially in that third term with 13 disposals. Josh Kelly, brilliant. 27 touches, 9 score involvements, 6 inside 50s in his first game back in a month. Lockie Whitfield had 28 with 9 tackles off half back. Brent Daniels, 12 score involvements in a goal with 18 disposals. He created so much in a scrappy game up forward, as did Hogan and Riccardi, taking 12 marks each. That's really impressive from the key forwards. For Port, Dan Houston was their best by a long way. 35 touches, 6 score involvements, 7 inside 50s. He got them going early. Kane Farrell had 30 possessions. Those two waxed a lot across half back, but didn't have too much help. The next best is Boak with 18, Horn Francis 18, Wines 18, Zach Butters only 17. So some of the prime movers for Port Adelaide were low. Connor Rosie only 14 disposals. The midfield by the end of the game just got outworked and outclassed by the Giants, didn't they?
Yeah, you could see it. We said it, John. 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, they were running on top of the ground, the Giants, and Port Adelaide looked tired in certainly the midfield group.
So those are the numbers to finish off. Of course, we saw Ollie Lord subbed out in the third term for Quinton Narkle, both among the inclusions today for the Power, and at three-quarter time, Aaron Cadman subbed out for Toby McMullen. That's how it all finished up for the Giants. 0437 774 774. Phil from Victoria doing a great job calling an ordinary game. Thank you, Phil. And the Happy Pies supporter, GWS, why have they pulled back after such a good early start to the season? Next week will be a hard task, as we've been discussing. The reason for the Giants and their fade away after the first month or so? Injuries are part of it, yeah.
Big part of it, you know. And, it's hard with personnel. It's when your personnel is changing consistently, it can really affect you. As you saw with the in of Josh Kelly and the impact he had. You lose Taylor, and your Buckley's out, Canelio's out.
They might get him back next week, Canelio. Yeah. That'll be an interesting watch.
Yeah. Well, it's just a shift. That's huge for you. They're the top 5 or 6 players in the team. When they're consistently out, it affects any team.
Yeah. Well, and it's just a few of them that midfield depth or options that go through there, Canelio and obviously Josh Kelly. And I think, like Tom mentioned when we were just talking to him before, they've had a young midfield in there. And they haven't been poor, but they just, you don't get that same explosive dynamite type midfield.
Consistent effort.
Yeah. So, it does play its part. And then, once confidence sort of drops a little bit, it's hard to get your game going. And teams work you out a little bit too. They see how dashing and the setup that you do, and teams then put their work into you and they work out, how to sort of shut you down and slow you up a little bit, and you've got to find a way to get through that, and that's something you work on, and I guess that's something that the Giants keep working on to try and find new avenues and new ways to get through and score and stay a formidable team in the competition.
0437 774 774. You're with Brett Sprigg, Daniel Garb, Jason Saddington and Ty Kennelly here on ABC Sport. Wrapping up AFL round 14 here at the Showground. The Giants beat the Power by 22 points, and earlier at Docklands it was Collingwood over North Melbourne by 1 point. More on that very, very shortly. But we'll make our way through and wrap things up here from a Port Adelaide perspective as well. If you want to have your say, Power fans, by all means, via text 0437 774 774. And that's the thing for Port Adelaide. So to think that the way they recruited to sort of, fill gaps in the team, and Dixon and Finlayson aren't new players to their list, but didn't play today. You look at, I guess, the way their list has come together, and today the pieces weren't there. Against a team they probably should have beaten, let's be honest. I mean, if they want to prove themselves against a team that's a fellow finals contender, it didn't happen today, and they were a little disjointed, let's say.
They seem to be a similar side, Sato, to, say, the Western Bulldogs, where you have a lot of stars, but then is that next level down good enough? So you got your Horn Francis and Rosie and Butters and Wines, and a good defence with Zerk Thatcher and Aaliyah, and a sound forward line, but that bottom 6 to 8 players, similar to, say, the Bulldogs, who have a lot of big names, is that strong enough? Do they not get enough support from those players to lead them to big results like this? And are they just simply, based on list quality, at that level below?
Yeah, and do they have enough experience in that bottom end of their team that, that are sort of out there, like Willem Drew, McEntee? They're still players that they've been there a couple of years, and they've had a handful, more than a handful of games under their belt now. But what are they getting out of those guys? How deep can they go? But come back to just today's game again, like we mentioned, some of their senior players they need more out of. Soldo as a ruckman, you probably want to get a bit more out of him, and certainly today you wanted to get a bit more out of him as an experienced player that's played a lot of footy and should be a strong, dominant ruckman. Zerk Thatcher as a pickup, he's solid down there. But again, coming back to your point, Garby, it's some of those.
Yeah, Ollie Wines as well. Enough off Ollie Wines. As a ball inside mid, you're not getting enough of him.
Didn't see him today.
No,
really.
Barely saw him. And it's a typical game for. Let's go to head with Tom Green, Ollie. He's ended up being in the ruck for the last quarter. Ollie.
Or if you're pushing for top 4 and premierships, Finlayson and Dixon need to be playing well, and they're not in the team.
That's right.
Because they're not playing well.
So the next little run for Port Adelaide is, I mentioned the Lions next week at home. That's at Adelaide. St Kilda, the Bulldogs back at home, Gold Coast, Richmond, Carlton. I can see them going up and down, again, being unconvincing all the way through. So we're getting potentially like a low top 8 sort of, and the fans wouldn't necessarily be buoyed by that, would they? But that's for them to decide, I suppose.
But it's like any interstate team. They won a home final, and you would finish in the top 4 gives you the best advantage itself. And there was the opportunity today for Port Adelaide to go, well, you'll start cementing yourself, because that's not a bad draw for the next 4 weeks for them. And if you win this game today, and you're going home against Brisbane, and you got an easy enough as far as easy goes in this competition draws, is you're looking at top 4 then, but this just puts another inconsistent piece into the football club that I'm not too sure what way they play, to tell you the truth, and what I saw today and their style. They had a lot of high possession football, trying to draw the Giants midfielders and possess the ball a lot through the middle of the ground, but once they got in the front half, it just fell apart.
I might try and tie in Rob's text when we do the wrap-up of the Collingwood North Melbourne game, because he sent, I want to say, about 25 different stats, and if I can't guarantee I'll get to the whole text, but it starts with, at the risk of getting roasted by Tiger again, here are a few fun ones from the earlier game today. I'll just tease that there with you, Rob, and listeners, and if I can get through a few of them, I will, but there's a lot of little stats morsels there from our man, Rob.
It's brilliant. Can we get someone to check these stats? You know, I'm just checking your credibility.
If
here,
they're
Rob.
made up, then he's got a lot of effort. So
cool. I hope he does make them up.
And you've just roasted him again.
The number one draft pick from 2022, he's in a bit of trouble, Aaron Cadman. Just 3 goals in his last 4 games, sub for the second week in a row. Only the 4 disposals today. Did kick a goal, but it was a Joe the Goose over the top. Yep. Max Grzewski's putting a lot of pressure on. He was an emergency today. Does Adam Kingsley pull that trigger for a Sydney derby against the might of the Swans? Does he give Cadman one more go? I think that's going to be a big talking point for them at match committee. And he's just struggling to get some confidence up, as we often see with young key forwards. But when you're the number one draft pick, you get discussed a lot more.
And you're true. I mean, he's played a bit of footy now over the last 2 years. He's been in the team more often than not. And, they've been patient and they're giving him time, and they're putting him out on the park, and he's playing his role. But he's yet to have that breakout, isn't he? There is that time where you go, well, do we need to roll him out, get him back into the twos, get some confidence going, take the pressure off perhaps a little bit, and get him back to actually playing really good football and playing a game of football we actually maybe get 10 touches and kick, take 10 marks and kick 4 or 5 or a bit of a bag of goals to get yourself going again. Because you're right, there's a bit of pressure now underneath from the twos because I always get his name wrong.
Max Grzewski.
Yeah, Grzewski. He's had a really, really good month of footy, and that definitely could be a change next week. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen, Garby.
It's more the contest piece for mine. It's not the goals or the marks or anything. It's just the ability to get from one contest to the next and just provide an option. And Riccardi didn't have a great start to the game, but just that's why he's playing, because he's just consistently grinding and putting himself hand up long down the line. I'll make the contest, I'll get at the ground, and eventually he wears down his opponent. Just not seeing that with Cadman at a consistent basis, and he's not strong enough 1v1. So he's going to have to start working like a real centre-half forward, because he hasn't got the size yet as far as physical size. Well, then you've got to find another way. What's your one wood? Well, I'm going to start running him. I'm going to start moving and providing the option where you're not seeing either at the moment, because he's trying to do the Riccardi types and stand there and Tom Hawkins, and he's not big enough, but he's not also doing the leading and the work rate either on the back of it. So you've got to be one or the other, don't you?
So here's a question. If you've got, obviously, Jesse Hogan's constantly the main focal point. So he's your number one key, and Riccardi's your second key. If you're a young player like Aaron Cadman, who's developing to be a key position player, but you're not necessarily playing that specific role because you've got 2 others ahead of you, what role are you playing? And is that why does that hinder him a little bit, because he's not one of the key 2 targets? He's sort of filling a different role.
It's a bit like the Logan McDonald argument with Buddy in the last couple of years. He kind of wasn't sure where he sat on the team, and the read was there and those types of taller, and without that focus point is what you're saying. Cadman could be, well, it's your spot, go and take it.
On the subject, that's right. I just want to round it up there with the subject of effective players. Who are your 3 most effective players, and your votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year, Ty Kennelly?
Okay. Beautiful. One vote. I've thought about this long and hard. It was a difficult enough decision next.
You've had 40 minutes since that full-time siren went.
But I've been talking dribble for 40 minutes. Do you
want a bit more time?
No, I'm good to go. One vote's going to go to Houston for Port Adelaide. 35 disposals, 792 metres gained.
Okay.
5 tackles, 6 score involvements. His first half was electric, so I'll give him 1. And the 2 votes is going to Brent Daniels. 18 disposals, 6 tackles for a small forward, 7 inside 50s, and 12 score involvements. And obviously we saw the boundary forward 50 goal, which was elite. And I think you all know who the 3 votes is going to. In Chook, Josh Kelly, 27 disposals, 15 kicks, 12 handballs, 8 contested, 640 metres gained. 1 tackle, but you can't tackle when you've got the ball, Josh. And 6 inside 50s, 9 score involvements, 1 goal, 1.
First game since round 9, Josh Kelly. We spoke about his effectiveness coming back in and what he gives them, and Tom Green chatted to us about it as well. Brent Daniels, though, is having some amazing form. So I mentioned last week he had Career best, 27 disposals against the Hawks, 16 contested possessions, a goal as well. Kicked a goal again today. You went through his numbers before, Ty. He's a player in some good form. Someone texted earlier saying, I think it was Brendan, saying, would the Giants like to have Bobby Hill back? Well, I mean, yeah, he kicked 5 goals today, had a Mark of the Year contender at Docklands against North Melbourne. The reality is you can't fit all those players in your team. The small forwards they have, without Bobby Hill, who's North Smith medalist last year, he's moved on to Collingwood. Brent Daniels is filling that void, as is Bedford.
Thomas.
Got Toby Green as well in there, Harvey Thomas.
Halloran kicked 4 last week.
Yeah.
They've got an array of them, and clearly it's the style of football that they play, the Giants. And, it's exciting to see that. Sometimes those positions you can get unrewarded, but it's really on the back of your football should be your pressure acts and your forward 50 tackles and your ability to keep the ball in the front half, which gives you the chance to have 18 disposals and 12 score involvements. Brent Daniels.
Ty Cannelli giving 3 votes, Josh Kelly 2 for Brent Daniels and 1 to Dan Houston in the ABC Footballer of the Year. You're with Ty Cannelli, Jason Saddington, Daniel Garb. I'm Brett Sprigg. We're wrapping up the day and the weekend here, AFL Round 14 here on ABC Sport. It was the Giants by 22 points over Port Adelaide. And earlier, sorry to keep saying it at Docklands, it was a 1-point win to the Pies over the Kangaroos. And North fans, I'm sorry to do it to you again, but this is how it transpired on ABC Sport.
This is the game right here. Boundary throw in deep forward for North. Collingwood by 2 points. Sherry hooks it down. Dean's got it, lost it, comes out to Powell, hand pass, Sheasel, couldn't get a kick away, stolen by Moore, still alive for North, comes to Fisher, it's a goal! No, he's missed it! Fisher's missed it! Wrong side of the post, Collingwood by a point, 4 seconds left, Fisher's kicked us the wrong side of the stick, Pies by 1.
Jeremy Howe gestures to left half-back. He'll kick it as far as he can as the seconds tick down. This black and white show. Collingwood just win the close ones as they kick the last 6 of the last 7 goals of the match to break North Melbourne Hearts and win by a point. The Magpies jump to 3rd on the AFL ladder.
Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass bring us the end there. We've had close games before this year. We've had draws, but that was something else. Every kick we're hanging on. They came from 9 goals down, 54 points in that first half, the Pies. North fans dared to dream that they're going to have back-to-back wins, but the Pies have done this for years, haven't they? Craig McRae coached teams the past couple of years, have come from those positions to win games. They did it again today to win by a point. Nick Dacos had 29 disposals. He kicked 2 goals, 2, and he spoke in the winners' rooms with our own Ben Cameron.
Well, Nick Dacos, the Collingwood Football Club, you guys are the AFL's answer to Harry Houdini. How do you do it? 54 points down, you come back and win.
We don't want to put ourselves in that position, but North Melbourne played a great game, and I think probably speaks a lot to the boys and our drive to win, but also the coaching staff and their ability to make changes and adapt throughout the game. So, it's quite special.
You were one of the big stories of the game. You had Will Phillips going everywhere with you. I saw you two just drawing at each other a little bit, which was enjoyable for me to see. How did you find the battle?
Good. No, I played some juniors with and against Will, so a few conversations there about junior footy halfway through, but good. I think in the second half our coaching staff is unbelievable. The way they're able to manipulate taggers and put him in awkward positions and throw other team systems out, I think is awesome, and it clearly worked in the second half with some of the tactics they had.
So what does that actually look like?
I can't give away our tactics.
You're too slick for me. You've broken my tag. Were you surprised that he was subbed off at three-quarter time?
I'm not too sure. They were going well. I trust Clarko's judgment. He's obviously been such a good coach for so long, and I don't know who their sub was too, so they might have had to make a decision. They had a lot of their midfielders going well. So,
how are you finding it? Obviously, you're getting more and more attention, and teams are trying to go with you, and they're scragging you and trying to buffet you. I know you've spoken about what the coaches can do, but personally, how are you finding it?
Yeah, I think that's something that we've gotten used to in our 3rd year now. And as I said, it's something that we're not surprised by and we think we can manipulate. So we actually like and encourage teams to do it. And if one of those tactics is going forward, I like playing a little bit of forward. I've grown my forward craft and learning off a few of the boys down there. I don't know if I can do what Bobby Hill can do, but I'll try.
Can you talk me through his mark today?
Oh, he is a serious special talent. He's just unbelievable. Like, to get off the ground that high, and he does it consistently. It's not a one-off with Bob, and we're just so grateful to have him.
I think he was patting himself on the head after he kicked it as well, saying, "I sat on your head, Jackson Archer," which was interesting through all of that. One thing I picked up today that was fascinating for me was just how calm you guys were on the bench, and I know that's something that you guys live by, but I'm sitting there looking at it going, you're 54 points down and still everyone's so calm. Stick to the process, play the minutes.
Yeah.
How do you guys do that?
No, that's something our coach, Craig McRae, is big on, and I love having him on the bench. I think it's awesome that he can, as soon as we come off, we get direct feedback, and he's always calming and sees the game so well. So I find that personally, I love when Fly's on the bench, and I think that helps all of us just gain a level head when stuff can be going against us, and then conversely, when things are going really well, he's also good to level us out and make sure we're still focused.
It might be a little bit of a weird question, but going into the bye, the fact that you were 54 points down, do you think there was possibly a chance that maybe the players thought, look, we're playing North Melbourne, I know you pay every team respect, but down the bottom of the ladder, we've got the bye coming up, maybe there wasn't that same mental...
Not at all. I'll cut you off early, I think. Fly and the coaches were big on all week how good North Melbourne are going. They've been trending in the right direction, and the competition's so easy that you can't afford to take your foot off the pedal, and we came out, I don't think that was our mindset at all. We wanted to win the game. It's just as simple as they were better, and they were doing a few tactical things that probably outshone us a little bit, and as I said, our coaches adjusted to that, and we really got on top with our game, but most importantly, we wanted to win that game for Brazzy's 200th and for Tau's debut.
And both were excellent across the afternoon. He got full body cramp at one stage, Tau, and looked like he was struggling a bit. Last one, how do you spend the bye?
I'll be getting away with my girlfriend for a little bit, which will be really nice, a little refresh for me. And I think a few of the teammates are going away where I'm going away, so it'll be nice to see them. We'll get a little jog or run in, and it'll be nice to get some sun.
Go see your family. Appreciate your time.
Good on you. Thank you.
Nick Dacos with Ben Cameron there after that remarkable win for the Pies over North Melbourne at Dockland. It seemed, Tig and Sato were watching it here in the box before getting ready for our game, and even though it sort of swung back late on each kick late in the game, it seemed at a certain point that they were almost as short of a win. Collingwood early in that fourth quarter when they were even a few goals behind at that stage. But just extraordinary. I've done it before, but not from that sort of buffer. But what more can you say about Craig McRae's Magpies, who reaffirmed their place in the top four?
It's amazing, isn't it? If you're a team that wins often, you know how to win, and you find a way to win. There's no secret recipe to it, and you do X, Y, and Z. But the team that wins always seems to come out on top in a game like that, whereas North, they haven't won many games of football for a long period of time. So you find it hard to get across the line in a game where you have a chance to get across the line. And the last minute, wasn't it? There was about 8 moments that looked like that North was like, oh, they might get it. No. Oh, they might. No. And they just couldn't grab that moment. And then when the shot on goal, they've called it down the line. They kicked a goal. The Kangas are up.
The warning.
It hurt.
The warning signs were there though the week before. Like, West Coast kicked 6 in a row against them, and if not for a hot call, and Elliot Yeo might have clinched victory from the jaws of defeat as well the week before. So clearly they're struggling to deal with a lead mentally, and you can understand that when you've been in horrid form like they have for so long. But positive signs for North under Alistair Clarkson now, that they're starting to gain something, and they're playing some vibrant footy at least finally.
I'll get to a few points on that game. So, Rob, impress us here, Rob. What have you got? North's kick differential in the first half of plus 61 is their biggest kick differential in a half of footy since 2013. This is a slow start, Rob. And the biggest the Pies have considered since 2009. Yeah.
Sorry, Rob.
George Wardlaw and LDU, Luke Davies-Uniacke, combined for 43 disposals in the first half, which was the most by a pair of North players since Aaron Hall and Ben Cunnington combined for 43 in 2021. I was wondering that. Okay, Rob. George Wardlaw's 22 disposals, 6 contested possessions. Oh, that was the Brett Delidio comparison, wasn't it? Oh,
yes,
no.
in the first half.
Yeah. Nick, in the second half, Nick Dacos' second half of 18 disposals, 11 disposals, 4 score assists, 3 goal assists, 6 inside 50s, and 4 shots at goal is the first time ever that a player's had these numbers or better in a half of footy. Wasn't that George Wardlaw?
18 disposals, that's not right. Rob, there's flaws all over, there's warts all over this.
Hang on.
Rob.
Yeah, I think we're done with Rob. Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, sorry,
I appreciate your loyal correspondence, but we'll leave all the stats there. AFL ABC Sport Team. The non-decision late in North Melbourne Collingwood game. This was the Bailey Scott.
Let's talk about this.
Mark, which wasn't, or the 50 which wasn't paid. Both Collingwood players went over the mark. It should have been 50 for just one. It was extremely obvious. Now wait for the cryptic explanation from the AFL. No accountability at all in an organisation, says Michael in WA. It's affecting the season and image big time. Who trains and selects the umpires? It's a problem.
Says bang!
There we go. We finished strong.
Well, I'll give him this. I umpired a game today, my first one ever, under 10s, Maroubra Saints versus the Moore Park Tigers. Cracking game. Daughter played, gave us 3 free kick goals, 30 out. But look, I've got to give him respect. It's a very, very difficult job. But that call, it's never given. In a minute to go, or a minute and a half. So I don't care what's happening in a game of football. Just call what you see, and the time of the game should never matter.
That's the key difference. So it seems like in recent weeks we're seeing more decisions seemingly affecting games, which we'll always have things that get missed, and that's normal. Umpiring is tricky. We can't lose sight of that. It's a very tough job. But we're seeing things happen late in games which may swing the result, and that's what's highlighting, I suppose, the inadequacies.
There's so much they got to take. I get that. But don't forget and understand the basics of a free kick. There's some free kicks that are, you're going, well, he's missed that. But the obvious ones, like stepping over the mark there when there's 2 players came, that's a clear 50. Give it.
But the frustrating thing for North fans is the week before there were 3 decisions that were 50-50 ones that were all paid that affected games. There was the Ben King v St Kilda one, which wasn't even there. The AFL admitted that. The Elliot Yeo holding the ball and the Tom Green bump on Sicily that led to Bruce match winner for Hawthorn against the Giants. And then North this week, they don't pay it late on when it's probably there, so it's frustrating. Bit of salt in the wound for North fans.
Like, what's the answer? It's the difference.
Try to get them right. That's what we ask. It's not easy to do, though.
It is.
It's just very, very hard to umpire.
Very quickly, 0437 774 774. Des in Ascot Vale says, "Hi guys, I don't even barrack for North, and I turn down the last minute of every very, very low. Just gutted for them. Thanks for a fantastic day of calling. You are the best. Thank you, Des. Hi guys, Stan from Victoria. Does Jason do AFL work for 7? If yes, just clicked, it's him that it's commentating. Good call today, all. Unless you have a secret TV career I'm not aware of, Jason Saddington. Stan thinks you have a voice double on Channel 7.
Voice double?
Well, he's confused you with someone on TV. Crowd figure, apparently, thanks Matt, who's done the research himself, 8,914. Seemed a little lower than that, but I'll take you at that one there, Matt. Go on.
Yeah, see, Rob, that's the type of stat I'm looking for.
That's
like
crowd figure.
Matt, the crowd figure. Come on, Matt. Well done, mate.
Recap of the weekend. We began in Brisbane back on Friday night. The Lions continuing their little surge. They beat St Kilda by 20 points. It means they won 3 of their past 4 either side of the bye. Joe Danaher kicked 5. Speaking of teams getting a roll on, the Bulldogs were comprehensive over Fremantle in the first of yesterday's games. They won by 67 points. They've now won 4 of their most recent 6. And they challenged the Swans in that time as well, the Bulldogs. So they're sort of up and going as well, the Doggies. That's what happened yesterday. We finished things off with, that was the Twilight, the Twilight game was Richmond Hawthorn. That was 92,000 at the MCG for Dusty's 300th, but Hawthorn spoiled the party to win by 48. They've also got some winning momentum here, the Hawks, and they're up to 12th now on the AFL ladder.
Aren't Brisbane the team? Grand final teams that are slow, that have lost grand finals, come in, they want get on a roll and get some momentum, come out of that 8. Just get going. And they got Port Adelaide next week. They're a team, you look to go, well, they've got the quality still to actually cause a lot of trouble.
The Swans now 3 games clear on top. They beat the Crows by 42 points, coming from a few 4 or 5 goals behind, and that's pressure now on Matthew Nicks. There always was pressure, I think, recently, but we're hearing about meetings this week. They've got the bye, the Crows, so there's talk that maybe Matthew Nicks and his job don't survive that bye. And of course, I mentioned today's results: the Pies by a point, and the Giants over Port Adelaide here at the Showground by 22 points. Next week, round 15, we'll pick it up again on Friday at the MCG for Carlton and Geelong. Saturday's triple header begins in Adelaide for the Power and the Lions. Sydney Derby 28 is back here at the Showground for the Twilight slot with our nightcap at the MCG, the Demons and the Kangaroos. Sunday, Essendon versus West Coast at Docklands, and we finish out west this time next week with Fremantle and the Gold Coast Suns. There'll be buys for Adelaide, Collingwood, Hawthorn, Richmond, St Kilda and the Western Bulldogs. And don't forget all of our usual programs in and around the footy, including AFL Saturday with Corbin Middlemass. Sunday with Matt Clinch. It's all part of our build-up each day. You can find everything on the ABC Listen app. Just look for our AFL button, and anything you miss you can find in your podcast provider under the Best of ABC Sport. And I should also plug the ABC AFL Daily podcast, which is a daily news wrap featuring Paul Roos, available every weekday. And that's making waves in the footy world with Roosie sort of just dialing in from overseas with a lot of hot takes on things. Guy you guys know pretty well, Tig and Sado, but Paul Roos, who knows the game very well, has his finger on the pulse at all times. And that is back tomorrow, the ABC AFL Daily Podcast. We'll see you back here on Friday on ABC Sport. Thank you, Tig Kennelly. Thank you, Sado, Darby.
Bring on the Derby next week.
Yeah. See you next week. And thanks to Declan Byrne. Thanks to Tegan Nichols, our tech, and to Akash Vodadar in the studio. To you, most importantly, for your company, this is the conclusion of AFL Round 14. Wins today to the Giants over the Power and the Pies over the Kangaroos. We'll see you again as Round 15 gets underway on Friday. Farewell.
Hey Google, play the footy on the ABC.
Did you know you can now listen to the footy on your smart speaker?
Oh, that is amazing!
Play ABC AFL.
Time to steady and pull the trigger!
Get the best call, the biggest experts in the game, every round of the AFL season.
Can he bend it back? You bet he can!
On your favourite station, ABC Radio. Your home for footy. Now on your smart speaker.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
In case you missed it. You're listening to AFL Saturday with Corbin Middlemass, Mick